Good evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight? It is Saturday. That means it's the weekend, and that means we've got another race for everybody here tonight. So we are here on behalf of Race Asylum, North America Edition. It is the one make Group 3 BRZ series. So, details in short version. Racing hards, racing mediums, and racing softs are required throughout the race. They have to make one full circuit lap with that. So if they start the race or finish the race on a tire change, they need to have 2 laps essentially for that tire change. If they do it in the middle of the race, they will need 3 laps for that tire mandate to be cleared. It's a little confusing, but the drivers are on it. Missing some drivers this week. Obviously, we have the Daytona 24-hour race happening here live right now. It's about 9 or 10 hours underway now officially here, and well, many of the races are actually there, sitting in the grandstands watching the action. So hope they're enjoying their fantastic experience at the Daytona 24-hour race. And for the rest of us, we're here racing for everybody watching at home. So welcome in, everybody. We appreciate you, and we got something a little extra special for everybody here tonight, at least for the first race anyways here. It's going to be a 2-race broadcast. We'll have Division 1 first. It'll be about an hour and a half long broadcast for that one. We'll have about a 15-minute break, and then we'll bring Division 2 race right afterwards. So we're going to have a special guest commentator here tonight, and I'm just going to go make sure that my stuff is working. All right, so I would like to welcome in Mihao V-Rod, showing on screen as his PSN. He's one of our Division 1 drivers. He's having some technical issues with his racing car here today, and unfortunately couldn't get it out of the paddock and onto pit lane, so he decided to come and join us here in the booth today. So welcome in, Mihao, and how's it looking tonight? I mean, what do you think here? Kyoto, Yamagiwa, very big, fast racetrack. What should we expect to see here tonight? Oh, he's having a settings thing. He'll just have to check his settings, I think. All right, he'll be with us in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. So in the meantime, we'll continue going through here. We got about 2 minutes till qualifying, if everything's on schedule, of course. Right now, racing officials have the crews out on the track, checking the track for safety. Some of the cars are just coming in from their practice. They're going to get those setups in for our grid start here. So basically,
Here
in a
I
couple
am.
minutes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there he
Okay.
is. You're good. Yes, we got you. All right, fantastic.
Sorry, I still had little technical issues.
It is all good. It is all good. It's a part of it. So, as I was saying there, welcome in, and again, unable to get that car out of the paddock here today and on the pit lane, which is unfortunate. But here in the booth to come and hang out with us during this great Div 1 race from Race Asylum. So, welcome in, and I mean, you're a racer. You probably put some work in for this testing and tuning. What should we expect to see out of this group of drivers here today?
It's definitely going to be a challenging race. This track is very unforgiving. Those curbs are very, very unforgiving. Turn 8, 9, and turn 14 are going to be the death of everybody. I don't know. We'll see if people are trying to take it easy. We're going to attack right from the start. Time will tell.
Absolutely, and looks like we're just getting ready to start here. So it looks like we are right on schedule, ladies and gentlemen, which is always fantastic. We're just gonna get our production crew to turn that mic up just a little bit more. There we go. All right. So let me know if you can hear our great co-host tonight, chat, and we'll make those adjustments on the fly and make sure that you guys get a great experience with our great co-host here. So one of our racers here joining us today, again, unable to get the car out, and it happens to be our championship points leader as well. So what kind of impact is this going to have on this final race next weekend now with you missing the race here this weekend?
I mean, luckily, Jakey, who's right behind me, is missing this race as well because he's in Daytona. But the big question mark is King Ayers. We'll see how he does. He might choke me in points depending on how he does.
Absolutely. And I
Very
mean, the big
unfortunate.
players here too, Chad, in case for those of us that are unsure or are just new to the series, King Ears, Jakey, and of course Mihao are our three top dogs here in the series leading into the end of the series. So having two of the competitors missing today is a huge, huge advantage for ERA's King Ears here. He's already proven to be an extremely efficient driver in this division as well. Alright, so the drivers are out on that outlap, and they're chilling. It's a long lap here. We're going to see in a high-powered car, you could see potentially 214s here on those soft tires. I think in this BRZ around here, we're probably going to be more along the lines of maybe the 16s, maybe some high 15s. That's just an educated guess. But we'll let these guys show us what they got here today. But we're not going to quite see the blazing fast times that we're used to seeing on this racetrack. For those of us that are familiar with Gran Turismo 7, Kyoto, Yamagiwa, full course. The BRZs are just lacking a little bit of top end speed, which means, of course, they're not going to quite have the mile per hour on those long straightaways and there's a lot of long straightaways and big sweeping corners here. So it really is a track of speed with a little bit of technical involved in the middle of it as well in between that speed. So it's going to be interesting to see how these BRZs handle this. And this is going to be officially here our flying lap now. It's a 5-minute qualifier. The drivers might be lucky if they get 2 hot laps in here today.
Sure, that first lap is going to be very detrimental as one little mistake and definitely ruin your lap time.
Absolutely, and essentially when you have basically one hot lap qualifier, because I mean in reality, with the game, sorry about that screaming after chat. I forgot to turn those off. There we go. All right, I lost my train of thought there. What was I? Thank goodness.
One hat lap, my friend.
Right, this first hot lap essentially is on cold tires still as well, right? So they're not even getting optimal out of these race cars. So really that second lap is kind of crucial. It's a crucial lap for these drivers. The first one I like to call that the safety lap. And then if you can get across the line to get in that second hot lap, that's kind of the one that you're really going to be pushing to try and improve, quote unquote, your safety lap, as I like to call it. So we should see that from the top half of the field for sure. The bottom half might only get 1 lap, but yeah, one little mistake and that means you could make the difference between starting in, say, second or third to 13th to 14th position as well. That makes a big difference at the race start as well.
Absolutely. So Fingers is finishing his first lap. Let's see what he does.
Yeah, we'll try to get this in sequence here for you, chat. We have a hard time sometimes, but they're a little spread out here. So it's going to be a 33.3. It's going to be a 35.1. So it's just not the full course. So Rose is going to jump up into second with that lap. Little Nicky's going to take pole position. Bigum's just in behind. He's going to roll through. He's going to take third place. Noir is coming through staying in 6th place for the time being. Gurgle moves up into 5th. We got Ishmael here. Again, another very consistent driver. Again, this is a driver you never discount in a race. Sitting there in 2nd position as he comes through. Streeter Tom, our final driver in the grid here tonight. Again, small field due to lots of the racers being at Daytona here this weekend. And let's see what Roses has for his first time around. Streeter Tom, pardon me, is going to sit in 9th place for the time being. But again, they all going to get a second crack at this here. So this is going to be the lap that we're going to see the drivers definitely pushing on. So let's jump back on with King Ears here, as he's going to be the first driver to come back across that start-finish line. Alright, so Little Nicky's been racing really well this season. Don't discount him. Really, this is a great opportunity week for every racer in the field. Missing some of the top points getters here in the division. So there's definitely an opportunity for some of these mid-pack point standing drivers right now to potentially put a little bit of a pinch on the podium and make things very interesting next weekend in our finale, where we should have all players on track too as well. So, alright, King Ears looks like he's going to hold 3rd place here for the time being. Little Nicky should be coming through here shortly. Oh, well, he might actually, King Ears is going to get a 3rd lap here, it looks like. Did they change this to a 10-minute qualifier this week? No.
No, he crossed the finish line with 5 seconds to spare.
I see 4 ways on one of the cars there now. It's just not showing me a checkered flag on my screen like it normally does. All right, Roses is finished. He's currently sitting in 7th. Tom is still on a flyer, even though he's got his four-ways on. Noir is finished up. He's currently sitting in 9th. Little Nicky is finished, currently sitting in pole. Ishmael is finished as well in 2nd. King Ears is on a flyer, the only driver really on a lap here. So pays to be the first driver out. But the tire wear looks quite significant here. This is after only 3 and well, almost 4 full laps here, ladies and gentlemen. Front right tire is 50% shot already on this racing car, so tire wear definitely going to be a factor here today. We're probably going to be seeing a little bit of a heavier usage on the hard and medium compound tires here today, or we're going to be seeing an extra pit stop out of the drivers to take an extra soft compound stint. But we'll see what Division 1 has in store for us. You never really know what they're going to throw at us. But King Ears doesn't grab anything after that flyer, so it is going to be R.A. Zelnicki in pole. It's going to be Ishmael in 2nd, King Ears in 3rd, Piggums in 4th position. Gurgle will line up 5th. We'll have Cusker in 6th, Bite the Roses in 7th, Streeter Tom in 8th, Noir in 9th, and I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming, and co-host Mihao Vira joining us here tonight for race 1 for sure here anyways. So welcome into all the viewers, and appreciate you being here.
Little Nicky with a very fast lap. 33.0 is a very, very, very
Yes, I agree. What do we got? 33.2 from Ishmael. King Ears is at 33.3, 33.5. Very close in that top 4. It's only separated by just under half a second essentially between our top 4 here, and then the next 5 drivers only separated by a second from there. So it should be some very close racing here, I think, tonight. Of course, tire strategy will play a big factor in that. We see some pretty varying strategies in this division all season long, so I don't honestly know what to expect here. When the race starts, what the drivers are going to choose to start on. Again, obviously, from what we've seen in that very short qualifying run, tire wear is going to be a massive factor here. It's a 1-hour endurance race. And obviously the track is like sandpaper here at Kyoto, so it is not the full course. I do apologize. It is just a Kyoto driving park, so that's why the lap times were at 1.5 minutes, not 2 minutes like I was talking about earlier. That was my fault. I was just not paying attention, so my bad. I think that's first pole position for Little Nicky this season as well, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me correctly anyways. So that was a really great lap there from him.
I mean, those were times I was running in practice with half a tank.
Yeah,
it was very close to having a 32, which is
we
very,
had
very good time here.
a team practice happening just before the race started here with TT Noir, Piggums, and Bar 27 in Division 2, and they were just having a hard time even scraping into the 33s. So, yeah, that's a crazy fast lap. How's it going, Nolander? Hope you're doing good, my dude. PRL Discord, there's a check-in for your race tomorrow. You better go make sure you're checked in, my guy. Alright, let's go do a quick stream survey, make sure everything's working. We're actually connected to the RA YouTube, and oh, look at that, Ray is up in the house. We got RA Ost up in the house as well. Welcome in, everybody, GTR Cars. Welcome. Hope everybody's doing great. Alright. Everything looks great. Can you guys hear me? How does he go up? Does he need to go down? Let me know, chat. Alright, so race control is just throwing out a couple reminders to the drivers here. We should see a starting grid very shortly. Alright, Cusker says an 8-stop is coming up, so let's see if an 8-stop is the winning strategy here today, chat. What do you guys think?
I wouldn't say 8-stop, but it's going to be close with the tire wear, that's for sure.
Alright. Got some good feedback here from our viewers. Go like that. won't go like that. We'll try that out. Alright, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to see a starting lineup here. So it's going to be a 60-minute endurance race. Racing hard, racing medium, and racing soft tires are required here today, and they are required for one full racing lap. Let's get all that juicy information up on the screen for everybody here. And let's go racing in Japan today, ladies and gentlemen. So this is Division 1. 60-minute round 9 at Kyoto Driving Park, presented by Race Asylum North America. Kick them tires, light them fires. Let's go racing, chat. We're waiting for that green, and we are green, and we are off. So great start by all the racers on track. Everybody gets a nice clean green here, and let's see what happens coming into this first high-speed sweeper. Cold tires, everybody's on different tire compounds. Piggums makes up an early position there, moving up into third place at race start there. And now he's up on the inside of Ishmael here. And Ishmael's just going to hold the position here, starting into the S's. And everybody's going to settle into a single file here. Very important, very tough sector to be 2x2 through here, especially on cold racing tires. Streeter Tom battling with Roses here right now, and Roses on the outside line, and Cusker and Roses now. Ooh, Roses hits the grass a little bit, comes out, he gets a little bit of contact there with Streeter Tom. Everybody keeps continuing on. That bottles up the back into the pack here a little bit. Noir's going to take advantage. He's going to slip up in front of Tom, and Tom actually checking up on the brakes a little bit there, realizing that he was in a compromised position, so to save his race car, checked up, and now he's battling back with Noir here for 8th position. So great battle here in the back part of this pack here on lap number 1. Noir on the inside coming into this hairpin corner. He's going to get the position for the time being, and he's going to settle in behind Cusker. And this is a scrappy little battle here in the backfield. Ishmael making a mistake, and he's going to fall to the back of the pack. And you hate to see it, chat, but early enough in the race and lost time to make it up. But little Nicky is checked out. 2.5 seconds up the road here in the lead, and definitely trying to take advantage of a great qualifying run here today. Higgins up into his 2nd place here, got a good early jump. We got King Ears rolling in behind, with Roses now up into 4th place. So Rose is a big mover through the field here early on as well, with mistakes being made by some of the drivers up front. Cusker in 5th, Gurgle in 6th. Streeter Tom just losing position here with Noir, and again a nice juicy side-by-side battle, and Tom has the inside position coming into the sweeper, and not necessarily a gimme here. You can hold the outside lines on this track pretty good, but Noir is going to settle back in behind Streeter Tom. Streeter Tom now putting pressure on Gurgle. Gurgle gets a great exit out of turn 1 into the S's, and uphill here we go. Whew. All right, that's a pretty intense action here to start off with. What you thinking so far?
Oh man, you can totally tell the different compounds. Everybody's battling. Everybody is unsure of what else is on. Battles.
Whew. All right, a little scrap here of a race this week compared to last week. The drivers really settled in quick last week, but 2 racing rounds left. At some point, the drivers are going to start taking those risks, and obviously tonight is the night we're going to start seeing some of those drivers maybe push a little bit harder, try to drive it just a little bit faster, maybe be a little more aggressive on trying to pass people. So it's going to be an interesting night of racing, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. We can see Piggins already started on soft, so he's wanted to get up front.
Yeah, again, strategy here is going to be tough. Typically, we've been seeing the 2-stop, 3-stop style strategies, but again, with the tire wear factory in here tonight, it's going to be really hard to say what these drivers have in mind for their strategies. We got Tom here in 5th place. He's been up, down, and all around, right back up into the mid-pack here again, so drivers definitely having their individual struggles with this track, and one of the big Cusker coming into pit lane here. He's going to jump off those racing hard tires. Ishmael's going to follow him in and do much of the same thing. Not too surprised to see that. Those tires are very hard to handle on this car, and with that nature of this racetrack, the longer you have to sit on them, just the more time it's going to cost you at the end of the day, most likely. So going to see the drivers probably not sit on the hard tires for too long, and that tells me we're probably going to see 3-stop strategies here today as well.
For sure, and the people that pitted early didn't even take fuel, so tire wear is going to definitely impact them.
And it just makes sense. You come in with a lighter fuel load, the car's going to be a little bit lighter, should be a little, just that much better on the tires without that extra fuel weight in the back of the car. So, the theory behind it, anyways. Still got to drive it, but it should help with tire management. Maybe it gains you an extra lap on the track in that sense too, as well, doing it that way. All right, so Streeter, Tom, and Rose is here. We're going to separate about 3/4 of a second. So Slipstream kind of just playing a factor here right now for Tom. If he can keep pace with Roses through this technical sector to get onto that front straightaway here heading into turn one, he's going to have a good chance of maybe potentially trying to get inside for a move into turn one. Oh, and there we go. Roses, I was just going to talk about that corner. The corner we just come through there is probably the most difficult corner on this racetrack. With the high-speed nature of this racetrack, it's just that corner is so easy to get it wrong. And these BRZ race cars really don't like high curbs. So that's a very high curb corner, and you need to really kind of use that curb to help get the corner just right. So I think we're going to see the drivers really struggle in both divisions tonight with that particular corner. I believe that's corner 18 on this track, 14 I think on this layout. But very difficult corner, and it will even make the best racer, the most consistent racer in the game, make that mistake because it's just the nature of the corner on this racetrack.
Oh, absolutely. Even running 100 laps here, there's bound to be a couple laps where you just get right.
Oh, for sure. I know I always, at least a couple of lawn mows from my car when I'm on this racetrack, that's for sure. It's so easy to get it wrong. Missed a braking point even by a couple meters sometimes is all it takes. All right, so we got TT Noir here in 6th place. This driver qualified on the bubble of Division 1 and Division 2 this season, so he's been kind of bouncing back and forth between the two lobbies here this season, and he's been doing fairly well in both lobbies this season, so he's looking pretty good here so far in 6th place, and you can start seeing the pit strategy, or the driver tire strategies are starting to kind of sort the pack, filter the pack out, so now we get to the point in the race where you probably don't see too many battles. Drivers are working on not losing the gap to the driver in front, and they're also trying to lose the driver in behind, so to speak. Right now they're kind of settling into their race strategies, and with the tire wear being so significant, I suspect that the race strategies are very precise, so we're not going to see a lot of big action, I don't think, until about the last 15 minutes, like we typically do in the series here, so at least in Division 1 anyways. Division 2 is a little bit of a different beast, but those Pro-Ams are a spicy group, what can we say?
They can definitely always see some good racing though.
I love Pro-Am racing, to be honest. You know, you have a mixture. You know, those are the drivers that are comfortable with their pace. Those are the drivers that are comfortable with their cars. They're just comfortable racers, right? So with that comfort factor, always produces really good close racing. And the Pro-Am drivers are more likely to take risks while battling as well, because they don't have that seasoned veteran experience, that track experience, recognizing a track situation while it's happening in front of you like the Division 1 drivers do. And that's kind of where the difference between the two divisions is, and really, in my opinion, the only difference, because sometimes the pace between a Pro and a Pro-Am lobby is mere hundreds of seconds as well. So really the difference between a Pro and a Pro-Am driver, even in sim racing when you compare it to real life, really is that veteran experience, just the amount of time behind the wheel of the car, and that always will relate to just a more consistent and higher pace race. Gurgle making a little mistake there coming through the secondary, as is the second chicane on the racetrack there, and he was very fortunate not to pick up the wall there and have a little chat with Barry, but it's going to cost him 2 or 3 seconds there and some dirty tires, which is unfortunate. Currently sitting in 9th place here. So we got little Nicky still in the lead of the race, which is fairly impressive actually, because he is at a tire disadvantage to the driver chasing, and he's actually been able to manage to open that gap up over the last partial lap here or so in 1st place. Bigham's in 2nd, chasing's on a different tire compound, so strategy is really going to be key here tonight, I think, for success. We got King Years here in 3rd place, currently looking like he's on a similar strategy to our race leader right now, but that first round of pit stops will kind of really start to show what's going to happen here. I think we got Streeter Tom now up into 4th place, and just slowly but surely making his way up through the field here. He's got 3.8 seconds on King Ears, and he's going to go do some grass cutting there for the track officials as well, and that's going to allow Roses to catch back up here. So just these little mistakes really do cost you on this racetrack, and I think that's going to be the story of a lot of drivers here today. Ooh, and Tom hooks that curb, and oh boy, that is going to be a bad slide into the wall there. He is going to pick up a little bit of damage on that racing car. Noir is going to pick up the position from him there, and we were talking about the curbs, and this car, just they don't mix on this racetrack. The driver's going to be very weary of the curbing here at Kyoto, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, you get a little bit of dirt on those tires from grass. Not a good combo.
So Nor does have a half-second penalty here, which is good for Tom and Cusker because they are, and Ishmael actually, they're all kind of closing in on Noir here right now. So that half-second penalty will have to be served as soon as he comes around the final corner, I think it is on this track. Um, that's going to slow him down significantly. He's going to kill all that momentum, and momentum is everything in this car. This particular race car requires momentum. Oh, and Cusker makes a mistake coming out of the corner, and he's going to have a chat there with Barry as well. And oh boy, some of the drivers, again, those little mistakes. That one turned into a little bit of a medium-sized mistake as he made contact with the wall. It's probably going to give him some damage there. He's going to put him on the back foot for 30 seconds. Now, the series is light damage model, meaning you pick up the damage still, but it goes away after 30 seconds from the time you pick up that damage. But in that 30 seconds, Cusker is going to have his hands full with this race car. Gurgle in ninth, he's about 12 seconds in behind. But again, pit strategies are going to separate these drivers here for the next little bit. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Anyway, tell the viewers watching, tell them a little bit about yourself. We got Mihal Virod here, our championship points leader in the booth with us today. Again, he's having some technical issues with his racing car and was unable to get on track today here. So, opportunity for some of the other racers on the track here. But tell us a little bit about your sim racing career, how long you've been doing it. Things that whatever it is that you want to freely give up to our viewers here. Anyways, tell them a little bit about yourself.
But thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate being here. I appreciate you letting me come in and spend some time with you. Sad, unable to get my car out there today. Unfortunately, yes, I am, leading the championship points, but thankfully it worked out that way that the people that are chasing me in points are most of them are not here, so we'll see how it plays out for the last race. Um, but I'm a relatively new sim racer. I started sim racing last year. I picked up a GT7 on PlayStation 4 back in I think March or April of last year, um, and kind of just ended up rolling with it. I used to race in real life. I'm an old soul now. I'm approaching 40 years old. But when I was 19, 20, I used to race spec Miatas and then got into shifter carts. But life got away and kind of had to stop racing. So uh, fast forward 20 years later, I'm sim racing.
Oh, that's fantastic. I guess I would kind of explain for those of us that have been watching this guy absolutely tear up the racetrack all season long. That would explain his very quick um, adaptive adaptiveness to the game, the nature of the game, the physics of the game, the cars. You can always tell a real life racer. At least I can. I watch a lot of races. Obviously, as the chat knows, that follow the page, we do a lot of commentary. We see a lot of different racers throughout the year. But you can always tell, or have that inclination that, I think this driver might have some real racing experience just because they literally learn to adapt to any situation just at a snap of a finger, and it just seems natural to them. And Rose is having a huge wipeout here in fourth place. A little 360 spin, hitting the wall. Noir's going to grab position. Streeter Tom's going to grab position. Ishmael's going to come through, and great job there by Roses to be aware traffic's coming. You waited not to interfere. Cusker's going to grab the position there. Now Rose is going to get back on track here. And little mistakes, chat. That was that kink. Again, turn 14, I believe it is here on this layout. Just a difficult corner. But you can always tell the real racers because they just settle in and they just develop that pace and that racecraft so quickly. And I mean, with you're exactly the epiphany of that. I mean, you've been sim racing for, like you said, a very short amount of time, but you have a vast variety of real racing experience, and it shows on track just with your smoothness. How you process situations that happen, and at the end of the day, you always crosses that finish line. So it's important to take that checkered flag if you're going to start. That's for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Also helps being in this group of people. Everybody races very respectfully. Everybody always leaves space and doesn't kind of overdrive their car and know when to push. So it's definitely a great place to be.
Absolutely, and I mean, as a new sim racer, I mean, some decided to do daily racing and open lobby racing, but in comparison for what experience you do have with daily races and open lobby racing, I mean, how does that compare to organized league racing like we have going on here tonight?
Oh, it's a night and day difference. To put it bluntly, I all I used to do was daily races. I mean, I ended up running top split lobbies within the first 3 months of sim racing, and that's kind of what I did for 3 or 4 months afterwards. And I haven't been back to racing daily races in the past 4 or 5 weeks because all I've been doing is kind of practicing for this league because I just enjoy it so much more. Having 1 hour races versus 15, 20-minute races is just completely different.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I tend to agree with that. And I find league races or organized racing events like this, for example, or even just charity events or fun one-off events that happen through all over the sim racing community, through all the sim racing platforms as well. Um, you build that camaraderie, you build those friendships with people that, in all honesty, they're from another part of the planet, and you probably never get a chance to meet in real life face to face. But you develop relationships and friendships, you develop family bonds in a sense, even with some sim racers out there. So it's a great community network as well when you get into league racing, and but I also find that it teaches new sim racers, those missing parts of racecraft that you don't get from daily racing and necessarily get from open lobby racing, because you have to predict the unpredictable in that kind of racing. Where in organized event racing, there's a set of rules, there's stewarding. It's just like you're on the real track basically, and there's an expectation, there's a standard. So everybody is trying to drive to that standard, which creates what we have here on screen, day in and day out throughout the sim racing community. Great live races.
Oh, absolutely. And the camaraderie of everybody joining lobbies to practice and working out strategies, and everybody's always willing to help. And, my first race here, I finished in eighth place and almost dropped down to lobby two. And, from then on, everybody's kind of just cheered me on and, you know, hopped in lobbies to help and get faster. And, I did.
Oh, and each driver really, the sky's the limit. It just depends on that particular driver. I mean, time in. The best advice I can give to any sim racer is time. You got to put the seat time in if you really want to find the improvement. And for some of us, it's hard. We have real lives, we have families, we have jobs. For most of us, this is a hobby. So, but the organized racing really does just provide a more enjoyable experience, I think. And then just want to, huge shout out to Race Asylum as well. They always have great racing events out there. I think they're currently got 5 series up on SimLeague Pro right now for registration. So if you guys are looking for something to race in, you're in that UK time zone, especially, Race Asylum may be the place for you. So go hit SimLeague Pro up and search for Race Asylum. Go join that community. Go check out what they got going on. That's how you register for this particular series, and in the future North American events, it'll be done much of the same way. So huge shout out to SimLeague Pro as well for that great hosting platform. But just a great site. And of course, from there, you can jump into their Discord server and, of course, get all the juicy tidbits. That's where all the good stuff is, everybody. The good stuff is always in the Discord servers.
Absolutely.
All right, so
And I would 100% recommend RA to anybody because they've been a blessing, especially to somebody that's relatively new.
I think that's the general consensus through most of our sim racing communities. I'm a part of a few different Discord servers, and that is the one consistency you see throughout league racing. The organized parts of Discord servers is that camaraderie, that bonding between competitors. And I mean, at the end of the day, they're trying to beat the snot out of each other on a racetrack. They want to win, right? Whether or not it's for prizes or just bragging rights, that's just human nature. We want to win. But when it's all said and done and the competition is over, they're sitting in the driver's garage having a couple of cold beverages and talking about the night, laughing, joking, and it's business as usual again. So.
Absolutely.
And we're not making that up, chat. That's a real thing. That's what happens after a race. You guys are always wondering what happens on the racetrack when all the fans are gone and the lights go out. The lights don't go out for the drivers. That's when the drivers get to finally have some fun and let loose and just blow off some steam. So, it is real life fact. Real life fact, chat, just in case you weren't aware.
And I see we got some greetings from Jakey, Larry, LJ, G Money, Ghost Viper, Paymay, everybody over at Daytona. They're
Beautiful.
enjoying themselves, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've been following their journey through one of the Discord servers over the weekend, and it definitely looks like they're gonna have some epic tales to tell when they come back. I can't wait. So we got a great three-way battle for fifth, sixth, and seventh place here right now on the track. And well, let's get back to the action on the racetrack because right now we are in the thick of it here in the mid pack. Ishmael, Gurgle, and Streeter Tom here right now, and these guys are not really battling, but they're going to be. Ooh, Streeter Tom with a big wiggle right there on exit. Dirty air, huge factor in these cars. The BRZ is an interesting Group 3 car. It has a very extensive aerodynamic package, more so than you would typically see on a Group 3 car. So when you get into that pocket in behind another car, you lose all that front end grip, so to speak, in these cars. And boy, this car really relies on that front end grip to keep the momentum around corners. So you got to be really um, aware of your distance behind your opponent. Of course, when the next braking zone's coming up, so you could try and just give yourself a little bit of space to break that suction zone where you just don't get the car to respond the way you expect it to. So when we see cars that close together, that's why you're going to see them moving left and right a lot. It looks like that they're just wiggling it behind each other. That they're doing it for a reason. There is a purpose behind it, and that's so they can still make the corner at pace, but not have that air that they're not getting affect their race car as much. So it is a battle with this particular race car. There's a lot to know about this particular car in Gran Turismo 7 because it is slightly different than your typical Group 3 car in the game. And for some reason, the game likes to keep nerfing it, but it seems to hold up. So
Absolutely. I think it's one of the closest cars to a Group 2 car as far as downforce and cornering ability. The only thing that's stopping it from being a Group 2 car is power, really.
and I mean, really, that just comes down to balance of performance at the end of the day for most of it. I mean, these chassis it can definitely be retrofitted, but um, uh, I mean, in real life, the BRZ is a very popular a Group 2 car choice as well. So yeah, it's unfortunate we don't have that in GT7 yet currently, but I guess you never know what's coming. You never know. All right, so let's get through our field here. We had a couple of pit stops, so some drivers have made their second stop. We still have some drivers that have only made one stop. King Ears is one of those drivers that has only made one stop. He's currently in the race lead. He's got a 12-second gap over second place driver Piggums. Um, Piggums here has 10 seconds over Little Nicky, who was our pole sitter here in the race. So again, this doesn't really say much right now. We're at the with we're about 30%, 33% of the way through the race, give or take, now a little more. So yeah, these guys are just playing their strategies out right now, and we had some good battling with that pit stop sequence happening there. But now again, immediately the tire compound differences are going to start playing a factor, and the drivers will start to separate here again. So Ishmael's found himself up into fourth place with Streeter Tom in behind him in fifth place. So that little three-way battle there has kind of settled down here as well. In the mid pack, Gurgle finds himself in sixth with Roses and Cusker and Noir hot on the chase here. So a little bit of action happening in the backpack here. Let's keep our eye on what's going on here. As again, the kink, which has been causing some drivers a ton of trouble here. Looking like it caused another driver a little bit of trouble there. Noir goes up the inside into the final corner. That was a very decisive move right there, and he's going to get that position on Cusker. So great job there. Cusker coming into pit lane. So kind of makes sense how that happened so beautifully right there, as Cusker was not intending on defending that position coming through the corner. All right, so King Ears has a lot of racetrack in between him and the second place driver here right now. Again, how these drivers are going to opt to use their strategy here today is really going to be the biggest key. And King Ears right now looks like he's got a massive gap and it's in the bag. Can't say that yet because he hasn't used a hard tire yet. And it seems like himself and the second place driver are on that same strategy, but exactly reverse. So again, it's interesting to see how that's going to play out at the end of the race. It's all going to come down to this next set of pit stops for these three drivers on what tire compound I think they take could potentially determine the end of the race here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Tire strategy, tire management will definitely be a big factor, especially towards the end of the race here. Um, those right fronts are going to suffer towards the end of, once you get them warm, they tend to scrub off pretty easily.
Yeah, so soft tires really wear down quickly here, especially when they hit about that what seems to be 45% mark of wear. They just really seem to start to fall off very quickly. And obviously, Kyoto, a very aggressive racetrack on these racing soft tires here as well. So it, drivers definitely got their hands full today. That much we can say for sure. All right, just checking in on the streams. We're connected to the RA YouTube, which is fantastic today. We've been having some issues with connecting, but I think we got it figured out. So, all right, good little battle here between Noir and Cusker. Roses has really been struggling with, I believe, his turn 14 on this layout. The kink, he just that thing has just absolutely been uh, his trouble zone on this racetrack here in this particular round, and it's unfortunate because it's definitely hurt his race a little bit here, but there's still, well, 35 minutes remaining, so lots of time for anything to happen yet here. Cusker and Noir side by side, slight little tire rub there as they come out of the exit, and Cusker's going to hold the advantage here in sixth place. So great little battle here between these two. Roses is starting to close back in on this battle, and every time drivers battle, that allows the driver in behind to catch up slightly. And Noir had to slightly check up there, so he didn't get into the back end of Cusker there as well, and that's going to cost him just a couple of tenths there, but that's all right. Good recognition there by Noir to realize that, hold on, this isn't going to end well, and at least gives him an opportunity to re-engage this battle at a more opportune moment when he sees fit, if he can, of course, make that happen, because Cusker is definitely a quality driver here in the series as well. Roses, eighth place. Ooh, and a half-second track limit penalty. Sometimes you just have that day on the racetrack, and today might be that day for Roses, but he's out there and he's still giving her. Gurgle is still in ninth place. So all our drivers on track here as well still, which is always fantastic to see. We hate seeing those disconnects. So 17 seconds now, the gap from Ears to Pagums. This is a pretty typical story this season between those two particular drivers as well. They've been very equally paced by the end of their strategies this season, and it has made for some pretty good racing. But Jakey, Lucas, Mihao, all missing from the grid here today. Very fast drivers as well, so lots of opportunity for drivers to make up some important points heading into the final round next weekend. Little Nicky is starting to feel a little bit of pressure here from Ishmael and Streeter Tom. So it looks like Ishmael and Streeter Tom have kind of not opted to fight for third or fourth and fifth place here right now, and kind of quote unquote work together to close the gap on the third place driver, and it definitely seems like it's working. So tire compounds obviously could be playing a factor in on that, but nonetheless, those drivers definitely closing in on Little Nicky right now. We got King Ears in pit lane, so this will be stop number 2 for this driver. And it looks like he's taking a decent load of fuel here this time, so I think we're going to see another soft tire stint out of this driver. Ooh, it's going to be a medium tire stint. Ooh, very interesting. And he's going to come out just in front of Ishmael there in fourth place, who's at speed. So great job from Ears to get up the pace real quickly and so far fend off a positional change there between him and Ishmael. But Ishmael is tucked into the S's here. So by the time they come into the first hard sweeping corner, he may be able to get a run. Let's see what he does here. He's just going to settle in behind his teammate here right now, and again, just taking a slightly different line to try and get the front of that car to get some front end grip. He doesn't want to lose pace with King Ears, obviously, and he does a great job at coming out exactly where he came into the corner behind. And Streeter Tom's just right there at about half a second, 6/10 of a second in behind. And when you're the third driver in a battle like that, when you're the last car in a battle like that, I know I tell our drivers at 1010 Sim Racing always to try to leave yourself about a half-second gap, because if something happens that those two start to have a battle, and there's even sometimes just a slight amount of contact made, that can really change what happens to both those drivers, and you need time to be able to react if something happens in front of you. So Streeter Tom looks like he's doing about exactly that. Is about that half-second gap there right now, and again, just giving himself a little bit of room to react. But now you can see Ishmael's fallen off King Ears a little bit, so now Streeter Tom's going to try and go into attack mode here. He sees an opportunity, so let's see if he can get it done here, or if he's just going to continue to work with Ishmael. There's a lot of drivers from same teams in these divisions, and I mean, hey, teamwork helps make the dream work. I mean, that's the name of the business when you're in a team. But do not think for a second, ladies and gentlemen, that when the checkered flag is about to drop, these drivers are thinking about winning this race because they are. The teammates are not. When it comes down to the final 10 minutes, the teamwork doesn't become a thing anymore. And it becomes, hey, how can I get around my teammate so I can beat him now, kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. We all racers at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Gotta win, man. Bragging rights. Gotta have the bragging rights. All right, so
Take a look to come
Pigums.
off in the last 2 laps, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So now Pigums has a race lead, and again, this is just a pit stop sequence. Is going to transition our race leaders here for a while throughout this race. We're not really going to have a good idea of who's going to be in good positions to win this race until about the last 15 minutes, give or take. Again, depending on each driver's strategies. So I'm assuming we're going to be seeing a pit stop coming from Pigums here probably within the next 2-3 laps, judging by what we're seeing for fuel load tires. We got little Nicky now moved up into second place. King Ears has come out after his pit stop in third. He's managed to stay ahead of Ishmael there and actually kind of open up a small gap. We'll call it a small gap because that's about all it is. It's not really a comfort zone when the car is still in the slipstream. So and Streeter Tom falling a little bit off the pace of these two drivers here at the moment. And actually, well, Streeter Tom coming into pit lane for a scheduled pit stop there. So that would make sense why he was coming out of the corner slow. Cusker is going to follow him in sixth place there as well. So let's jump on board with Noir. And we got the two Canadians here, Gurgle, and TT's Noir now knows the tails were coming through the kink. And and a great run there by Gurgle as he gets inside position coming through the kink there. And these guys are smoking the tires here as they're squeezing each other coming into the corner. Jimmy TT Noir, pardon me, going super defensive there. Didn't really have much of a choice as Gurgle was not going to let him move up that racetrack there. That was a hard Rubbins racing right there by those two drivers. And Noir is going to hold off the charge from Gurgle for the time being, but he does take the position there. And I think maybe the signal light that Noir has on there maybe messing with Gurgle slightly there a little bit as well. But great battle happening here between 7th and 8th place, and we're definitely going to stick with this. This is a hot tamale on the racetrack right now, and let's see how it works out.
Some good, clean racing for sure.
Absolutely, and I mean it happens. A little bit of rubbing tires, a little bit of paint swapping front door handles happens and times like that. That's clean, hard, fair racing right there, ladies and gentlemen. And there was no harm, no foul there at all, in my opinion. That's what makes league racing so good, because you can do that with each other. Oh, and a little mistake there made by Gurgle. I think he just slightly overshot the braking point there as Noir cut in to make his corner there. Gurgle is going to lose about a second off the back end of Noir, but Gurgle did a great job to hold that car together there, and that's going to leave him at least an opportunity to close the gap back up and try and re-engage that battle. But and then Rose has taken a massive hit into the wall there, and camera crew just transferring that camera over there. That was a hard hit right there, and Roses is just having one of those days. Every racer has them. They happen, and the important thing is that car, it's still running and it's still moving forward. So GG's Roses, keep it going, my dude.
It's this track, like I said in the beginning, it's very unforgiving.
Absolutely, and little mistakes always kill drivers when you're in a division of this caliber. When you're in with a pace level of what these guys and gals can race here in Division One, the little mistakes really do cost you. So it's very hard to gain time when you make those little mistakes. So the least amount of mistakes you can do, definitely the better. But doesn't mean you can't recover. We've seen some great recovery drives this season from drivers as well.
For sure. You can see Pigham's trying to stretch those tires out. Those mediums are just about done.
Yeah, he's sitting on about a sliver there right now. He's got about 2% on that front right now. It is that tire is screaming at that race car right now. Get off me, get off me! But let's see what Pickens does here. And nope, yeah, I think you're right. I think he's going to take that right to the end of his fuel load here. I think he's got a strategy. Again, that's just a racer sticking to his plan. Little Nicky here in second place. We got King Ears here in third. But what that is allowing now is Little Nicky and King Ears to start to reel him in. Obviously, grip is going to be at a premium on that front right tire for Piggums, and that is going to start affecting his speed and his pace around the racetrack, and that's going to allow the pack to start closing in on him here. So we'll see how long he opts to stay out on, well, that pretty dead front right tire. Noir up into fifth place, and Cusker is there in sixth. Gurgle in seventh. So Noir grabbing another position. They're making a mistake on exit there. That's going to give him a slide. And that's going to allow Cusker to really close into that slipstream there now. And 0.3 of a second that gap. So Cusker's close enough here if he has a hole to try and make a move. But he's just going to settle in behind here and continue to use the slipstream of Noir here. So, again, I've said this, Cusker's been a very consistent, smart driver here, and he's had a good season. So, he's going to wait for that mistake, it looks like, here from Noir, and hope that the constant pressure kind of draws that mistake out a little bit, too. If not, eventually he'll look for an opportunity and try to make it happen. But he's going to take the outside line here. Again, clean racing error, important. So, take that outside line. Maybe you get it done. You can hold a great outside line there, and Cusker shows that side by side. And again, a little hard racing right there, little tire rubbing right there, and Cusker still has the advantage, but Noir's going to have the inside track, and Cusker goes deep into the chicane, gets a great run through there, and he is going to secure fifth place back from TT Noir. So TT Noir very actively battling here today in this race. Gurgle.
That was an absolutely beautiful move by Cuskers on the outside.
Oh, gorgeous. Great hold. We said that a couple of times that you can definitely hold an outside line on this racetrack, and Cusker, good point in case, textbook outside line right there. Move by him. Nice and clean racing by those two there as well. Streeter Tom here in 8th right now, and Roses in 9th place, having his struggles here today, but like I said, the crew's got that car still on the racetrack, and that's the important thing. Little Nicky now has the race lead back. This is our pole sitter. A 133 flat, basically, in qualifying. That's a fast lap here with this car. And King Ears is just nibbling away, a little bit here, a little bit there, and closing in on Little Nicky right now. But I'm assuming we're going to be seeing a pit stop from Little Nicky in at the end of this one or the next one for sure, as that fuel load's getting a little bit light in our race leader's car at the moment.
The question will be, will Little Nicky try and do one stop, or is he going to have to stop one more time for fuel?
That is the big question. Hey, well, welcome back, Cars. Welcome back, my dude. All right, Ishmael now up into 3rd place. And Roses again, just having a snap moment there. Not sure what how that was a weird moment right there. He was just coming down the on the racing line there, and the car just kicked really hard there on him. And tough day for Roses there. Tough day. Piggums in 4th place. We got Cusker in 5th, and very quickly opening the gap up here on Noir and Gurgle. Gurgle now up into 6th place. So Noir is starting to find himself sliding back down the field here a little bit, and 1.8 seconds or so. He must have made a mistake somewhere, and that is definitely confirmed as he has damage on that racing car. And, well, you hate to see it, but there is still 23 minutes remaining in this race. Plenty of time for things to happen here yet. That gold
Absolutely.
Twix car, Roses.
10 seconds.
Roses has spent a really hard time trying to get to that yummy chocolate nugget inside that Twix car here today, I think. All right, so Little Nicky and King Ears. Little Nicky opening some time back up here on his teammate, actually, as he heads into the chicane here. And give a little, take a little right now between these two drivers, and it just goes to show the equal pace, how easy or how hard it is to close in on another driver here in this division. We've seen on some tracks where they're in the slipstream and can't even close that gap up. So these drivers are very equally paced for the most part here in this division, and it makes it very tough to close in your opponent. You kind of almost rely on those little mistakes to make up those time differences. Definitely not Roses' best day. I agree, Host. I agree. I've watched him race lots and lots of times. He's just having a rough night. It happens to the best of them.
He just got 2 left Twixes instead of a left and right. That's all.
Yeah, see? There we go. All right, Little Nicky coming into pit lane, as I suspected, either the end of the last lap or this lap. And, I mean, he's on about 1 or 2%, 1% fuel there, as it says as he comes in. So he wasn't going to make it past the first corner with that much fuel left in the car. So is this the final stop? As Mihao had said, he brings up the great question: is this the final stop for him, or is there going to be like a splash and dash style sequence near the end of the race? We'll have to wait and find out. We got Ishmael here now up into second place with that pit. Piggums is just coming around Little Nicky there. So Pickham's just grabbing position on Little Nicky there and moves himself up into third place. And he is also on the racing medium tire. So similar strategy as King Ears here now. It's starting to settle into the same style strategy. So that tells me we're going to be seeing those drivers finishing this race off on the hard racing tires. All right, Noir and Gurgle back at it here, battling for sixth and seventh place. And boy, this has been a feisty mid pack today here in Division One. Love to see it. Oof, that right front tire on Gurgle's car, however, though, definitely has seen better days, and you can see that he couldn't hold the apex of the corner there as he went around. He just didn't have the grip, and that allowed Noir to make a pretty tidy little move up the inside there as he had a grip still on his race car, and he's going to grab P6 back there from Gurgle. So, again, a quick, decisive move there by Noir, and again, these two are going to swap positions here on the racetrack for the time being. How long that lasts? To be determined. We got Streeter Tom starting to close in here in 8th place as well. 1.9 seconds is that gap. And took a little break away from the sim racing for a while. He's just getting back into it here. And slowly but surely, that pace is definitely starting to come back from the driver here as well. Just skipped our race leader here right now. I'm not sure. Camera crew didn't want to give him any camera love, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to have a chat with that cameraman. But back on board with our race leader here. And let's go jump on board with him here and let's do a semi lap around Kyoto here. And this is normally where you would make that hard right-hander for the full course, but instead you're making a left-hander into the chicane that you come through later after you do the Miyabi circuit, basically, at that turning point there where we just came through. Here you're braking 20 meters inside the curbing. You're just going to roll. It is a late apex corner. You really do need to be patient there. You're going to get back on the throttle, move it over to the left side. Here it's driving style, a little lift, maybe a little tap of the brake if the car is going in too hot. Just try to clip the edge of the curb like you see there. With the heavier cars, you can eat that curb a little more, probably maintain a little more corner speed. But again, these Group 3 BRZs, they're not too friendly on high curbs. So Kyoto's not exactly a friendly place for curb riding with these cars. So let's do an onboard with our race leader here while we kind of keep our eye on the track radar. We got some cars definitely close together. And just kind of see how our race leader's navigating around here on lap 27. So keeping a nice tight tucked in apex there gives him a nice wide exit, should maximize his momentum coming out of the corner. The S is important to try and straight line this as much as possible. You need to risk running a little bit of the curb through the S's here, but they're not super high, so this car should be able to do it as long as you don't put too much of it on here. Here it's a lot of throttle control and maybe a little bit of trail braking just to get that car to grab the apex. And again, just late apexing every corner here is King Ears, and that really is important for speed around here. Late apexes is kind of the key word here at Kyoto. No matter which layout you're on, late apexes is really key.
And for sure, and those are the hardest ones to take too. Is as racers, you feel like you want to go, you just want to give it throttle, and you can't. It's definitely one of those things that it's just hard to do.
It is absolutely being patient, just letting waiting for that extra second before you put your foot into it again. So Ishmael now has 6 seconds on Little Nicky in third place. Little Nicky has navigated around Piggum, so he's got third place back from Piggum's. Piggum's now sitting in fourth place here. And a battle between Streeter Tom and Noir here. This is for fifth and sixth. And yeah, let's stick with this here for a minute. Fantastic. We just kind of caught the tail end of that battle there. Noir was on the inside, and then Tom on the outside there. And whoa, boy, that was a big moment right there. Again, the curbs. Victimizing another one of these cars here, and this time it is Streeter Tom, but all it cost him is about a second on the backside of the BRZ of Noir, and then Noir makes a mistake and gives a little time back. So good battle happening again in this mid pack. TT Noir has really been scrapping it out for positions here today. Cusker here in 7th place. We have Gurgle here in 8th place. And we've got Roses here in 9th position. This man still has this car tracking on this racetrack, and we love to see it.
He's not giving up for sure.
All right, so we have King Ears here, and you know that front right starting to show the end of its lifespan here a little bit. It's starting to get starting to really fall off here. So at this point as a racer, you just kind of need to feel that tire out. Gran Turismo 7 still allows us to run on essentially a rim, so to speak, if you want to call it. But of course, it definitely affects your time and then your grip levels around the racetrack. But so at this point now, the King Ears, he has whatever his strategy is in his mind. Maybe he's only 2 minutes from his pit stop. Maybe he's still 3 laps from his pit stop. But now he is definitely conscious of that tire, and he's probably. I know I at this point myself as a racer would be just kind of feeling how much grip level that tire has at this point, and you just make that adjustment under your braking. You brake a little bit sooner, and that just allows you to tighten up your apex for your car, and then just lift and coast, and then back on the throttle, and you'll do pretty well with a pretty worn out tire. But yeah, again, that patience thing is really really key, and when you're preparing for races like this, especially races that have tire wear in it's good to practice running on tires that are very worn, just to get used to how they feel and how the car reacts on that tire like that as well, because all those little extra things that you got in your playbook could really make a big difference at the end of a race.
Oh, for sure. Even though the front right is pretty much dead, there's still a lot of left-handers that you can still gain a lot of time on too.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, what do we got left here? We got 14 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in this race here as the clock just ticks over. We got Streeter Tom here in 5th. We've got Cusker in 6th. We got Gurgle now up into 7th. We got Noir in 8th. He's just made that pit stop. We got, Rose is having a little drift session there in 9th. A great corner there as he gathers the back end of that car back up, and he's coming into pit lane. So it is King Ears. Now we know this driver is going to owe us a pit stop yet because he has not cleared that racing hard tire yet. So there's going to be at least one more stop coming from this driver. Ishmael is much of the same thing. Little Nicky, I believe, also still owes us a racing hard tire here as well with just over 13 minutes remaining. Pigums, I believe, also owes us a hard tire. And as we say, that King Ears coming into pit lane now. And I believe the rest of the pack has used that racing hard tire here. So Streeter Tom, Cusker, Gurgle, Noir is on that tire right now, and I think Roses just came off that tire as he went into pit lane. So King Ears and Ishmael now in pit lane, and let's see what the strat is. Yep, it is that racing hard tire here for King Ears. So Little Nicky is going to move it up back into the lead of the race. We got King Ears here now in 2nd. We got Pigums now up into 3rd place, 2.6 in behind King Ears. Ishmael's coming out of pit lane here, and I'm assuming, we're going to see a racing soft. He may have pit right at the beginning of the race. I can't quite remember now. I'm starting to think that we've seen him pit after lap 2. We got Cusker here in 6th position, and he's kind of been chilling here in 6th and 5th place. That's kind of been the spot he's been battling for here so far in the race today. But we still, pit stop sequences haven't quite rounded themselves through yet. We're going to see a couple more pit stops from drivers yet. So Little Nicky looking to be in a pretty good position here. Depends on whether or not he can continue to open a big gap on King Ears. That stop will be a fairly short stop here for him for a splash of fuel and a hard tire compound change. But right now the gap is not going to be big enough for him to hold the lead over King Ears. King Ears has 2.2 seconds over Pigums, but I believe Pigums is going to have to make a pit stop yet. So Ishmael here, I'm not 100% sure that he owes a hard tire. I'm only 50% sure on that. He may have his tire mandates cleared, and if that's the case, he's potentially in a decent spot here to win this race, only 19 seconds behind Little Nicky right now. Be interesting to see what happens here. Steer
Sure.
Tom
So it
in
looks
5th.
like the only person that still needs to that has already pit for all tires is King Ears.
There we go. There we go. So he is in a pretty good position here then in this race.
little Nicky definitely needs to put in some good laps to try and run away.
Absolutely, and then time, the clock's running down here at a little over a minute and a half a lap with 11 minutes remaining. We're going to see about 7 more laps out of these drivers, 8 depending when they cross the line.
And unfortunately for Nicky, that tire is looking a little shaggy.
Definitely looking. It's starting to fall off, as we like to call it, and um, I mean, that's just good for King Ears chasing. Oh, Roses again. Roses is having a tough day. That car, there's got to be something going on with a toe adjustment or a wedge adjustment or a camber angle or something going on. That car just does not seem to be really cooperating with him, especially on the left hand corners. I'm noticing. These cars race hard all season long. They wear down. Things break on them. Sometimes things just happen. All right, so our leader is in pit lane. King Ears is already coming around the final corner. Piggums is coming around the final corner in behind him there as well. So King Ears will take the race lead back here. Obviously, that gap was not growing much large enough for Little Nicky to hold the position over King Ears. So King Ears has the race lead back and has cleared all the tire mandates. So we shouldn't see him come back into pit lane. I suspect at this point, I would imagine this is going to be run out to the end for him. He does have Piggums closing in on him here, but again, I think it's the same situation for Piggums. He still owes a tire stop here, and Little Nicky comes back out in third place. So not too bad here for Little Nicky. He's got Ishmael tracking in behind him here, and potentially guaranteed second place if Piggums still owes that pit stop, which I believe he does. Streeter Tom coming in, and I believe this is going to be the hard tire compound for this driver here as well, as he comes out, as we're getting pretty late into the race.
So
And
I
that
believe
is,
Piggins already stopped for hard, so this might be his race to the end too with King.
it is possible. Again, I have a hard time remembering those very early race pit stops. They tend to just make their way out of my memory there. So, Mihao could very well be right, chat. If he doesn't stop, then he's definitely taking a hard tire because I know this driver very well, and he's not going to not stop and take the tire and take a big penalty and compromise a potential podium finish over it. So he is most certainly going to follow that tire mandate. But yeah, all we can do is wait till the end of the race to see what happens here now. But Pigham's tracking 1.4 seconds on King Ears. I mean, he can see him. He's right there up in front of him. And he does have tire advantage, kind of, sort of, I guess, depending on how you look at it. But even I think a worn out set of mediums is probably going to still outpace a set of racing hard tires. So it's really going to come down to these two drivers behind the wheel of these cars now.
Sure, he probably has 2, maybe 3 laps worth of an advantage, and then they'll probably be about even. So it's time now to go.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll keep our eye on that just for a moment, Chad. We're just going to go through our field here. We're going to see if anything else is closing up. Little Nicky still has 1.3 on Ishmael. Gurgle has about 4 seconds over Streeter Tom, 6 seconds between him and Cusker. Noir and him, Cusker have a pretty large gap there. So Cusker in a pretty good spot right now, and Roses is still holding strong there in ninth place. All right, let's stick with this here as King Ears and Pigums now. With 7.5 minutes remaining, we got Roses in front of these guys here as well. King Ears getting around, coming into the hairpin there, and I'm sure Pigums is going to be trying to, a little bit of a slide on exit there from King Ears, and that is not what he wanted right there with Pigums chasing him down. Pigums going to go up the inside here, and he's going to grab that race lead away from King Ears. So now, if Pigums doesn't know that pit stop, that is very crucial for the race here. That may be the crucial moment right there for King Ears here.
Those
Lap
hard tires,
traffic
they're really
always
hard to
seems to
manage.
play a factor near the end of the race. Always in this series, it's just quite incredible. And Roses did nothing wrong there. He got out of the way, he pulled off the racing line. That was just a mistake by King Ears there, just a little one too. And just that wiggle was enough for Piggums to get ahead. So now the question is can he hold those medium tires off and keep King Ears from charging back and making something happen here before the end of the race? That is the next question, as we know King Ears is a more than capable driver. Little Nicky
Sure.
looking to lock down podium here tonight too, and this driver will be very, very happy with that. I mean, obviously you want to win, but to get on the podium still in a group like this, that puts a smile on your face.
And he's got some fresh stickies on too. He's on softs and plenty of fuel.
Yeah, he is definitely starting to pull away from Ishmael. Ishmael was looking like he was going to try and maybe apply some pressure here before the end of this race, but now little Nicky's clearly feeling like the tires are ready to go, and he's just sending it here now. So maybe there's another position change there coming, but the gap is fairly significant here with the time running down quite quickly. Just over 5.5 minutes remaining. Gurgle in fifth place here, and looking real good. Race solidified in the mid pack here right now. Tom in sixth. We got Cusker in seventh, and only 3.6 seconds behind Tom. So there is potential for a battle to develop there. We got Noir in eighth and Roses in ninth place here, and a scrappy race here in Division One tonight. Needless to say, it's been a fantastic race tonight. All right, so Pigham's 1 second gap currently over King Ears. He hasn't really been able to grow that gap as much as you would expect to see a driver open a gap on medium compared to hard racing tires. But again, Pigham's on a pretty worn out set of medium racing tires, and King Ears on a pretty fresh set of racing hard tires as well, and low fuel. So it kind of helps balance out the tires a little bit as well when you come out with low fuel and those hard tires. It makes them a little more manageable to drive on, I guess, so to speak. So we got a good battle here in the front right now, and I think is that little Nicky we just seen off in the background there? It is little Nicky we see off in the background there, and oh boy, potential three-way battle for the win here tonight, chat. Hey.
Sure is. He just gained almost 2 seconds in the lap, so he's on a
He is
charge.
tracking. What do we got left on the clock? 4 minutes and 26 seconds, and new player. Little Nicky in the house here, and Ishmael. Ooh, and we got Roses backwards on the curb there. Ooh, a little bit of a spicy moment for our race leaders there. And we are nose to tail, first to third place as we come in. Little Nicky taking a wide line. King Ears looking up the inside. Pigham's sticks on the racing line, and Pigham's, is, for the time being, holds the race lead. Little Nicky's going to go wide right away, get some clean air into that car. King Ears is going to slot in right in front here, and oh boy, it is battle on here now between these three drivers. This is good for Pigham's. The longer that King Ears keeps Little Nicky in behind him, this is good for Pigham's. But the question is, can these two drivers really hold this driver off? He has the massive tire advantage here. And we're going to see that tire advantage right here in this straightaway. He easily goes by King Ears. Pigham's coming into pit lane, so Pigham's did a hard tire stop still. And that is going to drop him out of the battle for the podium here, unfortunately, today. So this has now become a battle for the race win here between Little Nicky, King Ears, and potentially Ishmael here, now tracking in third place as well. So, here we go, chat. Let's get it done. Little Nicky back in the lead of this race, and, well, it's his to lose right now. I'm going to say that. That's all I'm going to say, because this man has worked hard tonight.
He has definitely put in some work on this track, that's for sure.
King Ears here in the second position, Ishmael in third, and tracking as well. So again, he's at a tire advantage over King Ears right now too. And I think the bigger question mark here is, can Ishmael find himself one more position on the racetrack here before this thing's over tonight as well? I said at the beginning of the broadcast, chat, and you can go back and check for yourselves after the stream is back up as a recording. I said, never count this driver out of any race, because he always seems to find a way to make it interesting. He always seems to find his way towards that podium. All right, Little Nicky in charge here, and we are going to have 2 to go as our race leaders come across the start-finish line here. We're coming around that final corner right now, and that leaves us just over 2 minutes on the clock by the time they pass the start-finish line. That is going to be 2 to go, ladies and gentlemen, here in Division 1, Round 9. King Ears in second place, and Ishmael is there. He's now in a position where he could potentially attack for second place. Let's sit on board here with the 2 ERA drivers, and Ishmael has absolutely closed right up on King Ears here into the S's, and he's not waiting. He is going to do it through the S's, and he's going to get the job done. A little slide there from King Ears. Of course, both drivers just trying to provide enough room there, and that cost a little slide there to King Ears, and that was opportunity for Ishmael to get down the inside through that second S and got the job done. So he wasn't waiting around here. I think that he feels maybe he can catch Little Nicky before the end of this lap, and maybe that's why he decided to take that move into the S's. But whew, great move right there by Ishmael in second place for him now, and King Ears holding on to third place, and he's got 17 seconds to Pickham's in behind, who's now on that racing hard tire, so shouldn't have anything to worry about there. Gurgle in fifth place, only 1.7 seconds to Cusker, so Cusker has been tracking. And are they going to get around in time? It is going to be close for our mid-pack here. This could be final lap for our mid-pack as they come around here. Noir's just coming through to start lap 37. Streeter Tom here in 8th place. We got Roses in 9th place, and somehow the crew has still kept that car running. GG's to the Roses pit crew here today, let me tell you what. All right, final lap here, ladies and gentlemen. Are on board with our race leader. It's Little Nicky from RA. He's got Ishmael 1.7 seconds in behind in second place, and King Ears just a little bit behind them there. 15 corners to go here for Little Nicky, and it's going to be a potential race victory here for this driver today. Ishmael in second place. We got King Ears here in third. Piggums in fourth. We got Gurgle, and Cusker, and it is battle on. Cusker absolutely pushing here, and it is side by side. No, Gurgle is going to get the advantage. I think there was slight contact there, and I think Cusker backed off actually, but it was hard to tell from the angle we had. Going through the kink, both drivers get it right, and it's going to be a race finish for these guys as they come around here. So this is final lap, and it is side by side going through the final corner. Cusker on the outside. He's going to try and pull it off again. Can he do it? It's a tough hold in that final corner, and it's a drag race to the start-finish line here. Is it going to be Cusker? Is it going to be Gurgle? It's going to be Cusker. Cusker gets a big run there, and he's going to steal fifth place away from Gurgle. Gurgle break his heart right at the finish line, and what a finish right there for fifth and sixth place. Great job by those two. That was fantastic racing right there. We got TT
That
Noir
was
here.
unbelievable. Cusker
Absolutely.
again on an outside pass again.
DOD vote right there. May have to go to Cusker today if there was such a thing. He would definitely be in the conversation. Noir's going to come bring it home here in seventh. Streeter Tom right in behind there in eighth place. Oh, clipping the wall a little bit there, coming through, but thankfully it didn't murder him. That's always good. So here we go, our race leader, Little Nicky, and we have flashing them headlights before he even gets through the final quarter. Over the moon happy, I'm sure, and it's going to be a round 9 victory for RA's Little Nicky. Ishmael from ERA is going to bring it home here in second place, and teammate King Ears is going to bring it home here in third. Now he's rolling really slowly here, and I'm not sure why.
Did he run out of fuel?
No, he's still got fuel on my screen. We got Piggums coming around here. Is King Ears setting up a little bit of a juicy finish for the race, or has something happened here? I think yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I can't wait to see what that was about. Fourth place for King Ears, giving Piggums a third place finish there. I really believe, ladies and gentlemen, what we just saw happen there was ERA King Ears having a pretty good handle on the points, and probably doing the math in his head around the last couple of corners, and I feel like he gave that position up to set up for a really great final round of racing for the viewers at home. I think that when everything is said and done, that the top 3 or 5 drivers are going to be separated by a mere handful of points potentially, and I think that you guys are in for a treat next weekend. That's what I think. that's what I think just happened right there. I mean, he still had about 5% fuel in the tank there, so yeah, that's what I think happened there. So that is interesting. That is interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Can't wait to see what the motive behind that was. That's what I'm talking. We talked a little bit. We touched on about midway through the race about the community and the camaraderie and the bond and all that things, and that what we just kind of saw right there, ladies and gentlemen, is is exactly kind of an end result of exactly that camaraderie. I think I really strongly believe we just seen King Ears purposely set up a really close, tight championship finale for everybody. That's what I think we just saw happen. I really do. So
That's the
GG's.
case. That's some great sportsmanship. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Um, but I mean, again, that camaraderie, that bond. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's everything. Yeah, there we go. It's just verified right there in the game chat. Viewers can see it right for themselves. We ain't hiding anything there. I didn't want that many points with Jakey, Michael, and Luke missing, so that's a competitor. That is a sportsmanship move right there. That is a couple of sportsmanship. That is sportsmanship at its finest right there. And I tip my hat to ERA's King Ears. Literally, he could have walked away with the championship tonight if he wanted to, right there, and he chose not to. He wants to fight for that thing. So, um, point in case. I mean, I don't need to say anything more about what organized racing can do. I mean, he just showed us. He just showed us. Absolutely fantastic stuff right there by ERA's King. Here's huge shout out to him for that, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week. And I'll tell you that much now. I'm excited for our finale race and next weekend. Crazy.
It was absolutely amazing. That was it's so nice of him. Now
Let me know when you
that will
shared that
make
out,
that
Ray.
last race.
Sorry, go ahead, Miho.
Saying that was amazing what he just did. That will make the last race so unbelievable for all of us.
Absolutely, and I mean, you're well, you're a competing racer. I mean, you were, having mechanical issues. You couldn't even get your car on the track tonight, and then having to sit there and watch your competition gain points on you, and then you see a class act like that. I mean, how you feeling moving into next weekend's race now? I mean, what's the plan? How do you feel about the track? I mean, what do you do now moving forward? I mean, that was, yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do next week. Oh, it's going to be so incredible.
I mean, I'm gonna try and go into it like any other week. Of course, that's probably not gonna happen because the nerves will probably get to me. Um, but I'm gonna try and treat it like a regular race and see where it goes. I've had pretty good runs the last 4 or 5 races, so um, I'm pretty confident with the track. Um, but we'll see what happens. I mean, what King just did absolutely amazing. He just kind of ensured that we can have a four-way battle for the finish, which is very much appreciated. I have no words.
I agree. I mean, I don't think I could have said it a whole lot better myself. As a content creator, especially the winners, my community, especially that follows the page, that's what it's all about at GT45 Gaming, our Discord server, our championships, and why we do what we do with our commentary. It's about just showcasing and displaying the great side of sim racing. There's a bad side to sim racing, like there's a bad side to everything, but the bad side of this sport, and I'm going to call it a sport, and I'm sure that's up for argument with viewers and people outside that don't understand what we do here, but this is a sport. This is a genuine sport. I mean, you have to be physically fit to yank that car around the racetrack to start with for an hour. These wheels have force feedback. They fight with you. It's like driving a real car. You have to be in shape. You have to train your body with those motions and gain that muscle memory in your body. So it's not as simple as people actually genuinely think it is. And especially recently, over the last, I would say, 12 months, sim racing has really been taking off, and the lines between sim racing and real life racing are blurring. The communities are very quickly starting to just meld into one massive racing family. And that is going to be a huge thing for the world because, like sim racing, the real life racing family, it is all about giving back to our communities. And when you have communities and camaraderie and sportsmanship like we just saw tonight, that is a sign of a community that is doing exactly that. They're here to continue to do something bigger, a bigger goal, a more powerful message out there, and that is to give back to their community and to say thank you. So, um, to see those things is really great as a content creator because that means the motions that we're trying to show to people that are watching at home is in the right direction because sim racing has changed many people's lives, including my own as a content creator. It has really opened my eyes up to the fact that, hey, you know what? The world really isn't that terrible of a place. And, one person at a time, if we can just change that mentality for positivity and paying things forward, next thing you know, the world's a better place. So remember that, ladies and gentlemen. And don't run away because I got another race coming for y'all, too, as well. Whew, that was a mouthful, chat. I get on those rambles sometimes,
You get a drink of water.
I'm still good. I'm good for a couple more hours yet before we got to wet the palate, hey, chat. We're a seasoned commentator over here. All right, let's see if we
On that, I'd
can.
like to thank you as well for doing this for us because I absolutely love watching back the races and especially me being in there and seeing the action and seeing the live action commentators and it's amazing. It really is.
I appreciate it. It's definitely something we enjoy doing, so that definitely helps make it enjoyable. Is what we're always aiming for, anyways. What are we looking for? Replays, chat. All right. The race could still be ongoing right now as well, ladies and gentlemen. So we just do need to just kind of sit tight here and just be patient as our lobby host, who is one of the amazing organizers here from Race Asylum, will have that sent out to us, and we'll collect that bad boy up, and we'll bring that Division 2 race to you here as soon as it's available to us. So just sit tight. Now is a good time to make that bathroom break, go restock the Munchie Bowl, grab a refreshment. We could be about 10 or 15 minutes away from race number 2 yet, but we do appreciate everybody hanging out with us here tonight. And yeah, if Division 2's race is even close to Division 1's race with 13 drivers over in Division 2 here today, we're in for a treat here in race number 2, that's for sure. I don't have a fancy track map for everybody today. I apologize for that. I thought I had one for this layout, but we do not have that made yet, so. Sometimes you gotta reset your cache for new stuff to show up. There's a lot of quirks with this game you gotta figure out sometimes. All right. I don't even know how to sum that Division 1 race up, chat, to be honest with you. I mean, that was a pretty action-packed race for the most part. There wasn't a whole lot of time in that race where there wasn't something happening somewhere, battling for position. A lot of heartbreak moments on the racetrack for some of the drivers. Lots of little mistakes made, which definitely probably changed the outcome for some drivers. The pit strategies were quite interesting. The 3-stop was that dominating strategy today. It was very early on determining that was going to be the strategy today, and again, end of the race is just a great moment of sportsmanship. We see them, I don't know, periodically about every 6 to 8 weeks. It seems like no matter where it is where we're broadcasting for whoever it is, somebody does something pretty incredible. And in this case, this week, it definitely belongs to ERA's King Ears. Above and beyond moment right there on the racetrack, and it's always a little extra special when we get to catch it live on the stream as well, because it just goes to show that the drivers do care about the competition and having a good fair battle. So that's what we saw there tonight, and I can't wait to see what these tier 1 guys are bringing for us next week. It's going to be a crazy race. Just gonna go check to see where we are next week. I can't remember off the top of my head here.
Absolutely, definitely hats off to him for sure.
What's the track for next week? I don't know right off the top of my head. Do you know off the top of your head?
I can see the track. Let me think if I can remember the name.
There it is, calendar. Oh, it's going to be Interlagos. Ooh, that's going to be a juicy finale. A very technical short racetrack. I believe that's going to be a mid-speed BOP racetrack, which means that the setting, the BRZ will be driving a little bit differently for these drivers as well in that race, because Group 3 cars took a mid-speed BOP change in the update that just happened here this past week. So the BRZ will be a little down on power and handling a little bit after the update. So it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers make that adaptation to the car moving into the Interlagos race. Kyoto is a high-speed racetrack, so the car is exactly as it was put pre-update. Nothing changes with it on the high-speed BOP setting, but on the mid-speed BOP settings, that BRZ has changed. So it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers make that adaptation now after all the work and running this race compared to next weekend's race as well. So the drivers, if you're watching, listening now live or after the fact, whatever the case may be, something for you to think about moving into next weekend's practice sessions. The car will or could act a little bit differently than you're used to.
And Interlagos definitely brings some good racing out, so it will definitely be a tight battle.
Hey, we got Brandon coming in with the share or the heart and the share on stream, which tells me that our Div 2 race is about finished up here, so we should have a replay queued up here in a few minutes' time. I forgot to shut the alerts off on that screen, chat. My bad if that just blew your eardrums out. I'm just reading some of the chatter in the Discord right now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, Kingers, he knows the numbers. He knew exactly what he was doing there. I can't wait to see the point standings once the officiating's done. I suspect a handful of points is going to separate like 4 drivers. All right, we're going to go check, see if there's a replay here now.
All right. Well, thank you very much for allowing me to hop in and
Thanks,
be your
Brandon.
co-host tonight. I appreciate it. On that note, I will sign off for tonight. I appreciate it. It's been a hell lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming in. It's always nice to have one of the competitors coming in and hang out with us for a night when they're available, because great insights coming from the guys that are putting in the work, and of course battling the drivers on the racetrack tonight. So me, Hal, getting a pretty good view from the commentary booth here tonight, getting a really good close look at his competition, and well, we'll see how he relays that information now coming into Interlagos race next weekend. But, appreciate you being here. And, well, all I can say is good luck next weekend. And I can't see what you're going to bring to the table for us, that's for sure.
Thank you. And we're definitely aiming high for next week. So everybody watching, tune in, because it will definitely be a tight race to the finish.
Oh, I agree. I think we're going to have to do a little bit of advertising for the finale here over the week, because I really do think that the viewers are going to be in for a treat.
Yeah, if my memory serves me correct, it will be a race of 3 or 4 people that can still win the title.
And that's how we love it, chat. We love that setup. We love that scenario, because that's gonna mean. I mean, you got one race left. The drivers at some point are gonna take the big risk. So does it work out for them, or does it relate to heartbreak? 7 days will tell. Only 7 days will tell.
Thank you. Have a good night, all.
Cheers. We appreciate you. It was Mihao V-Rod, as seen on screen, ladies and gentlemen, in the commentary booth here with us for race number 1. Again, coming into the night, I believe he was the points championship leader. He had some technical difficulties with his racing car and was actually unable to get that car out of the paddock. So decided to come and join us in the commentary booth. It's all good, Bar. No worries, dude. We just chatting. All right, we'll be back. We're going to take about a 5-minute break here. We'll give the production crew some time to get that race set up and ready to go for us here, and we'll be back in give us 5 minutes, chat. 5 minutes. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize about the delay. Again, just had to wait for our production crew to get that beautiful replay over to us here. So as you can see on the screen in front of you, the small screen, let's take you to the bigger screen. There we go. We have our lineup. So let's go take a look. We got Ray Racer. He's going to start off in pole position. We got Hooli in second place. We got Rusty in third. We've got JP in fourth. We've got Onzaway in fifth. We've got Cupcake in sixth place. We've got Matus in seventh. We've got Johnny in eighth. We've got Ken in ninth. We've got Skunk in 10th. We've got Floyd in 11th. We've got Bar 27 in 12th place. So one driver not making the grid here tonight out of the 13 drivers. So this is our Race Asylum North America Group 3 1 Mega BRZ Series. This is round 9 at Kyoto Driving Park. And this is our Division 2 race. This was ran right alongside the live broadcast Division 1 race. So now we're bringing this to you after the fact as a replay. So settle in, get ready. We've got another 1 hour endurance race ready to go for everybody, and it is again the racing hards, the racing mediums, and the racing soft tires required. And the mandate on that is that you run a full circuit lap on said tires. And I think we have a slight issue before I start this with audio, so just uno momento. Black screen. There we go. All right, so without further delay, let's kick things off, shall we? All right, and we are green here in round number 9, Division 2, race number 2 here tonight from Race Asylum. I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. Let's get to the action. Ray Racer from pole position, holding into turn number 1. They're in pole position, Hooli and Rusty in second and third. No changes in position between those two drivers. And as we head up through the S's there, everybody again sorting themselves out in single file here. Not an ideal situation to go 2 by 2 through, especially at a race start on cold racing tires. So we got Cupcake and JP side by side here heading into the second sweeper of the racing circuit, and JP is going to hold the position here in fourth place from Cupcake, as Cupcake did attempt there to make something happen. We have Hooli and Ray Racer here battling it out here for the race lead. Hooli takes a little bit of a look there up the inside, and obviously no opportunity there, and Rusty gets a run there, and he's going to go up the outside, pardon me, on Hooli and move himself up into second place there. So a great pass there by Rusty, and he finds himself very early on in second place here on lap number 1. Into the hairpin there, you can see the guy, everybody's bottling up there. They're all packing up as everybody's still very close together here at the start of this race. And much like our Division 1 race, I think we're in for a doozy here tonight. So the kink, can everybody survive the kink here tonight? Matus, everybody. Oh, and Johnny C and Floyd make a little bit of contact there into the kink, and Johnny C gets the receiving end of that one, and it looks like Floyd is going to sit there and make sure to give that position back. Obviously unintentional contact there, but not quite everybody makes it through the kink. Rusty now in the lead of this race, so he has now found his way around Ray Racer, and Hooli has now moved up into second place. And as we talking about that, Ray Racer responding here up the inside of turn 1, looking to get second place back there from Hooli, and well, job done for the time being. But boy, this is spicy here. Let's stick with this as JP now is all over the back end of this battle. A little bit of a slide there from Hooli, manages to hold the position there in third place, and JP and Cupcake all over the back end of this fight. Ray taking a semi-defensive line coming into the corner here, and oh wow, this is some great nose-to-tail racing right here by these Division 2 drivers, and Ray Racer holding off the charge from Hooli here for the time being, but JP and Cupcake just sitting there waiting for an opportunity here to attack these drivers and find themselves at the podium here on lap number 2 as well. So very early on here in this race, it is all or nothing for these drivers right now in the front. So the drivers that are racing in Division 2 are earning an equal point scale to Division 1. So even though that you're in Division 2, it does not necessarily mean that you do not have an opportunity for a championship here. You can still earn enough points if you can find yourself up into Lobby 1 and 2 as well. So It's been an interesting season as far as the point scales works, and there are Division Two drivers that are right there in the fight there in the standings here for the overall season as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this race does settle out because it is going to affect the overall point standings. Oh, and Ray Racer there makes a mistake on the exit of the final corner, and that's going to drop him 3 spots from second to fifth place, and that is that easy. We've seen it so many times in Division One here tonight. The little mistakes cost positions, and that's going to cost him 3 positions as these drivers are still very, very close together here early on in this race. So JP still tucked in underneath Hooley here. Hasn't let Hooley go anywhere. Cupcake is just about a half second in behind. In my opinion, the perfect distance as the third car in the battle. If those two battle to make contact and make a mistake, Cupcake has enough time to react to that and potentially grab 2 positions, not 1. Or there may be an opportunity for him to set up a twofer in one of the corners here as well. So lots of opportunities here, potentially being that third trailing driver. And, well, hey, using the slipstream in tow to save a little fuel and tires never hurts either. Ray Racer here in 5th place. He's got a little bit of work cut out for him here now. He's got to try and roll back into that pack for the fight here. Ken in 6th place. He's had an interesting season. He had I believe he had a little bit of contact there between him and Bar 27 as well. And Ken is going to get the receiving end of that one. And Bars, of course, looks like he's going to give that position back, I think. No, he continued on there, so not sure what happened there, but contact between the two drivers, and Ken is going to pay the price for that one there with a spin on the racetrack, and has to collect himself up and get up on the racetrack. So, of course, I'm not a steward. We don't make those calls. We just see, call it as we see it, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Alright, so it is Johnny here in 11th place. Oh, we lost a driver already? Oh, wow, we lost a driver. Alright, so it's Rusty in the lead. We got Hooley in 2nd. We got Cupcake now in 3rd. We got Ray Racer in 4th. JP now dropped down into 5th place. We got Skunk here in 6th. We got Matus in 7th. We got Onzaway in 8th. We got Bar 27 here in 9th. We got Kent in 10th. And we got Johnny here in 11th. So I'm not sure who it was that we lost, but we lost somebody. Alright, we're going to go just check on the stream here. And when we take a long break like that, sometimes I like to be funky and wonky, but it looks like it's doing pretty good, so. Alright, so it is Rusty here with the race lead, and right now opening a gap up on the field here. So Hooley, who's in 2nd place chasing, has about 3.5 seconds in behind our race leader right now, give or take. Cupcake in 3rd place here. He is about 1.5 to 2 seconds in behind 2nd place driver Hooley at the moment. We got Ray Racer here in 4th place, been very strong here in Division 2 all season long. JP in 5th place. He is the mastermind behind the paintwork on all the RA cars, so huge shout out to JP for the great looking artwork on the racetracks all the time. Skunk here in 6th place from the Incredible Sim Racing team. A little bit of a change in the livery there from these drivers this week. We like that. We like a little variation, a little variety. Alright, Matus here in 7th position. And he's got Onzaway tracking there in 8th place, about 3/4, maybe 9/10 of a second in behind as they come through the kink here. And boy, that kink was really trouble for our Division 1 drivers, so I do suspect we're going to see some heartbreaks happening here in Division 2 in that kink as well. We got Ken here in 10th position and still tracking up the track here. A little bit of a separation between him and the drivers up front, and we got a car off the track out of the final corner here, and it's Matus making a mistake coming out of the final corner there, and he has to get himself collected back up there, and Johnny C is going to grab a spot there, so Matus going to lose a couple of positions and fall back to the back of the pack there with a mistake in the final corner here on lap number 4. So it's Rusty in the lead here on lap number 5. We're 7 minutes in. We've got plenty of racing left to happen here yet today, and the pack's starting to kind of sort themselves out here. So as we go through the field, you can see what's going on underneath those race cars as far as their driving shoes goes and what they're looking at for fuel. Of course, all drivers start on a default full tank of fuel required by the event organizers, and then from there, how they choose to refuel their race cars during their pit stops is entirely up to them. Cupcake in 3rd position here, and starting to open a gap up on JP, so starting to give himself a little bit of a cushion here as he continues to try and chase down Hooley in the 2nd position, and Hooley has a solid 5, 6, I would say 6, 7 seconds even, currently on the 3rd place driver. So Ray Racer, he's starting to close in on JP and Cupcake here, but he's bringing along Skunk with them here as well. And as the drivers continue on through the kink here, it looks like the Division 2 is handling the kink pretty well here so far. We got R27 coming through. He is just in behind on the way. So 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th place all relatively close to each other. So potential battle starting to brew there. We got Ken and Johnny here as well in 9th and 10th place. They're not that far off that group, maybe about 5 seconds. So we'll have to see how these two opt to handle this situation now. Johnny can track in behind Ken. Ideally, they should be working together at this point in the race to try and close up that 5 or 6 second gap to the next group, and then, you know, take it from there. Matus, he's going to be the first driver to dive into pit lane here, and on lap number 5 we've got our first pit stop of our race here tonight. So it is Rusty in first position here, and not the fastest driver on the racetrack. However, Hooley currently holding that honor with a 1:34.446 at the moment. Got Cupcake here in a third position, and looks like the leaders are opening the gap up here on 3rd and 4th place, JP and Cupcake. 5th and 6th place, Ray Racer and Skunk here, still very close together, but you can see just off in the distance picture there the tail lights of JP up in front of Ray Racer. There we go, great shot by our helicopter crew here to show what the gap separation between 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th places. I mean, it's not much. So if these drivers continue to not battle with each other, then this can very quickly potentially turn into a 4-way battle for that final podium spot. Skunk makes a little bit of a mistake coming through the kink there, does a little bit of mowing the grass, so to speak there, gets it back on track though, does not incur any damage, but he is going to have some dirty tires here now coming around the final corner. Now he's going to stem a little bit of momentum, and definitely you can see that cost him some time on Ray Racer, about close to 2 seconds there, so it was unfortunate, but again kept it damage free and still moving forward on the racetrack. And that's the important thing. Bar 27 coming into pit lane for a pit stop here, our second driver of the night to make a pit stop as well. That we've seen anyways. We got Ken here, he's going to grab a position, move up in 8th. Johnny's going to move up into 9th place there. Bar in pit lane, taking some fuel. We got Matus here in 11th position after making his pit stop a couple laps ago. So it is Rusty here. Rusty is, well, in charge of this race early on here. Started in 3rd position, and now has himself up in the race lead here. So I've got a very good race start here tonight, and now just trying to, of course, to work on opening the gap as much as he can over Hooley. However, though, Hooley is the fastest driver technically on the racetrack right now. He is holding the fastest lap currently as it stands 11 minutes into this race, and tracking our race leader down. So he has been closing that gap up here to try and close back in on Rusty. So Hooley is definitely on a good pace here. We got Cupcake still holding on to 3rd place, but JP is starting to close in here. He's starting to try and apply some pressure. You can see Ray Racer just off in the background there. So Ray Racer hasn't really gained too much on these two drivers here in the last lap, but JP has most certainly done some work here to close up on Cupcake. We got our 2nd place driver Hooley now making a pit stop there. So definitely some varying pit strategies here so far tonight in Division 2. I do suspect that 3 stop should still be the dominant strategy like we saw in Division 1, but, well, it was Floyd. You're right. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, it was Floyd. That's unfortunate. I thought we had those issues solved with that poor driver. So Cupcake now moves up into 2nd place with that pit stop from Hooley. That puts JP into 3rd place. So now this is a battle for 2nd and 3rd place between these two. I wouldn't call it a battle right now, as JP is not really applying offensive pressure, so to speak, but he's definitely applying pressure by sitting right underneath the tail fin of Cupcake up in front. Ooh, Ray Racer gets it wrong. He goes a little bit wide into that sweeper. Oh boy, he's actually really fortunate there to only pick up some mild front aero damage. And on the way makes a mistake on the exit there and almost suffers the same fate. So Ray Racer's going to lose 2 spots there coming out of that high-speed corner. And what a show. 3 donuts there before the wall, stemming that momentum and putting him back in the right direction. Ken here in 8th place. We got Johnny in 9th, and Johnny is still just tucked in behind Ken here again. Much of the same thing that we're seeing between JP and Cupcake right now. There's no offensive battling going on, just pressure, just chilling in behind. And potentially, of course, gaining those drivers' time on the next group in front of them. Bar 27 coming out of the pit stop there in 10th, Matus here in 11th place. So it is Rusty still leading the race here as he comes through. And the gap, of course, has opened up a fair bit now because the driver that was very close, Hooley, had made a pit stop just last time around there. So that puts Cupcake and JP here in second and third place, and that gap is about 10-15 seconds, somewhere in around that mark. Unfortunately, with replays, we don't have a live timing screen that functions, so I do apologize to the viewers for that, but it is what it is. Just gotta do it how we do it. So it's Cupcake here in second, and again, JP in third place here. He's chilling right now, man. He's just sitting in behind Cupcake. He's in a good spot. He's on a podium right now. They don't have any pressure in behind from Skunk. They're chilling. I mean, they are really literally just trying to kind of close up on the leader, and because they're not battling, they do have an opportunity to close up that distance. So right now, smart racing here between these two drivers. That was a great run there, though, into the second set of S's here from JP, and he is tucked right in underneath Cupcake here now as we head up in towards the kink here. Ooh, great battle right there, side by side. Sorry, coming through the hairpin here to set up the kink here, and JP and Cupcake now battling it out here side by side. JP gets the job done coming out of the hairpin, leading into the kink, and JP with a nice tidy move right there to get his teammate Cupcake there for a second place position on the racetrack here currently, and they're still chasing down this man right here, Rusty, and that fairly efficient pass there. They shouldn't have cost him a whole lot of time on the race leader there, so now Cupcake finds himself being the trailing car in this little two-way group here for second and third place. Skunk coming around the final corner right now. He's in fourth place, so it's about a similar size gap between him and the podium as it is second and third to first place right now currently on the racetrack. We have Hooley, who has made his first pit stop here. He is just settled in behind Skunk here in fifth place. We got Ray Racer here sitting in sixth place currently, and has had a little bit of a tough race start here, but there's still plenty of time, 45 minutes, just a little less than left in this race, so plenty of racing to be had here yet tonight. All right, we got Johnny here. He is rocking. He's rolling in second place, and eighth place. Pardon me. Sorry, distracted. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of misinformation there. Not the intention. In eighth place, and he has par 27 in ninth place. Applying some pressure here, and side by side now as bar 27 looks to try and get the job done. He has the position here coming into the corner, and coming into the corner has Johnny cleared. So bar 27 moves up into ninth place. Johnny drops down into ninth place and settles in behind Bar. We got Ken here in 10th, and we got Matus in 11th place. So our race leader, who started in third place, found himself in first place by the end of lap 2 basically, and hasn't really looked back since. Literally, he has just put the loud pedal down and has literally just been working on opening the gap up here lap by lap. JP here had a nice little pass on his teammate Cupcake there at the hairpin, and is going to dive into pit lane there. So that was an interesting little strategy there. Cupcake in second place continues on to go around. So Hooley has made his way around Skunk here, and I'm assuming he's going to continue on here. Yes, he is. Skunk dives into pit lane. So we are going to start seeing the larger portion of the drivers make that first pit stop here pretty soon. We got Ray Racer. He's going to opt to go out one more time, maybe trying to pull a two-stop off here, I think, is that driver. We got On's Way here in 6th. We got Bar 27 here in 7th. Again, 2 drivers in pit lane. That means Ken, a.k.a. Scary Guy for You, 2, in 10th place. And we got Matus here in 11th. So it is Rusty leading the way here. Let's jump on board with this driver. It's starting to get a little dark on the racetrack. It's getting hard to see the paint past the headlights of the race cars here, so we'll try to give you some different views here as the race progresses. But on board right now with our race leader, you can see he can't even see headlights off in the distance there, so he knows he's not in any immediate danger of battling for this race lead here right now, and that's a comfortable feeling. As the pace setter of the race for the time being, he can just stick to the racing line, just really focus on trying to put in the cleanest quality, most quality, consistent fast laps he can, and hopefully it's enough by the time the pit stop sequences kind of shape out at the end of the race. And so far, it looks like he's made very few mistakes as well. On board with Cupcake here, is sitting there from our roll cage camera here, and a little bit more less functionality here with this camera, but it just gives us a really good angle. Taking a look at the drivers here, of course this is a Subaru BRZ, so it is a right-hand drive car, as you guys can see here on the screen in front of us right now. And it is definitely getting dark on the racetrack right now. And Cupcake had somebody tailing there. He was chasing JP, right? JP made a pit stop there. So right now you can see much of the same thing. He has just got a big, wide open track of nothing in behind him right now. So now really the job for him is to try and work on closing up that gap between himself and Rusty in the race lead. Got Hooley, who's now found his way back up into third place there. Oh, and JP makes a nice pass coming up out of the S's there and heading into the first left-hand sweeping corner here. Second, I guess, because turn one technically is a sweeping left-hander. A little bit of touch of the brakes there from JP, and that is actually going to allow Hooley to potentially get the run. No, Hooley just backs out there coming into the braking zone. The angle for this set of S's is really important here, and that's why we've seen Hooley not opt to continue to try and gain that position going into the corner there. He just settled in. That was a smart decision right there by Hooley, because he may have been coming in a little too hot if he tried to keep it on the inside there, and it could have potentially created contact. So live to fight another day kind of mentality right there by Hooley, and that great racing call right there by this driver. And again, nothing happening immediately in behind him. You can see some cars definitely off in the distance there, about 7-8 seconds behind. So no immediate pressure, so really his focus is on this offensive battle right now with third place driver JP. On his way in fifth with bar 27, trying to get a run out of the corner there, has to tuck himself back into the slipstream here. And are we going to see something into turn one here? It doesn't look like it. Looks like, ooh, he's just gonna stay in behind on his way there. Potentially a little bit of contact between the two. I think this is the case. Bar looked like he was letting up there. I think he's trying to give the position back to On's-Away here, and we're side by side up through the S's. So tough racing out there today. Ken here in 7th, we got Skunk in 8th, we've got Ray Racer here in 9th, we got Matus in 10th, we got Johnny here in 11th. So we're missing one driver, Floyd, carved behind pit wall here tonight, and well, you hate to see it, but at least he's still going to get last place points. So not all for nothing, at least all that work from the crew and all the testing throughout the week was a couple points on the board nonetheless. Alright, so Rusty is really pushing a long stint here to start this race off here. We're starting lap number 14. He hasn't made a pit stop yet. We got Cupcake coming around. He has yet to pit as well. He's going to come in right now. So that leaves JP and Hooley now coming in 3rd and 4th place. These drivers pit and took tires a couple of laps ago. Let's see if they took and made good work of those fresher tires. And JP coming into pit lane here, so he's actually going to surrender that position up to Hooley there freely, of course, making that pit stop. Hooley is actually going to come out in 3rd place here still, just ahead of what would be bar 27 here now, who's just coming into turn number 1. Alright, let's get with this here. We got some juicy battling happening. Ray Racer looking up the inside of Skunk going into turn 1, and that was a decisive power move right there from Ray Racer. Got the job done real quick and efficient there, and that's going to move him up into the middle of this three-way battle now in 7th place. So now he's trying to track in Ken and see if he can attack and gain position on Ken here. So Ken taking a semi-defensive line as we come into the corner, and that's actually going to compromise his line slightly there in the middle part of the corner. You can see he wasn't quite rolling on the apex, and you can see Ray Racer, who was on the optimum corner line there, really closed in, and now almost on the inside there, had to back out just a little bit. He didn't have proper position to try and make that move, so great recognition there by Ray Racer as well. But what that's done is now is allowed Skunk to get right back in to the back end of Ray Racer, and it is going to be a offensive defensive battle here now, and a mistake made there by Ken, I think, and Ray Racer trying to maneuver through there, made a little bit of contact and finished Ken off, and gives the position back anyways. I don't really think that was Ray Racer's fault right there, but great sportsmanship nonetheless there from Ray Racer, and he's going to drop a couple positions due to that little excursion on the track there, and then now he's just got to collect himself up here. Oh boy, it has just gone from bad to worse here for Ray Racer now, as he makes a mistake in the kink there as well, and just got to collect himself, get himself going here again. A little bit of front rear spoiler damage here, but that will go away in 30 seconds. So it is Rusty here with the race lead, and just doing his thing right now. He is just cruising down the road. We got Cupcake here in second place, and he's got Hooli tracking here in third as well. So Hooli has been just nibbling away here at our second place driver, and he has closed that gap up. Alright, so our race leader now coming into pit lane here. So he had a pretty significant gap over Cupcake and Hooli here in second and third place. So they're literally just coming into the final corner here right now. And I do suspect that we're going to be seeing a release of Hooli here in pit lane. By the time these guys probably cross the start-finish line, it's going to be close here. That was a pretty close assessment. You can see Hooli coming out of pit lane a little bit sooner than that. Basically, once they went past that pit entry solid white line, Hooli came out. So Hooli does hold, or Rusty, pardon me, does hold the race lead here, and I do apologize. It was Rusty, and let's see how this all works out here now in this next stint for our race leader. Alright, so Hooli has this gap closed up to a car length here now between him and Cupcake, and as we come through the second set of S's here on Kyoto Driving Park, it is about 4/10 of a second separating the drivers currently here. Hooli got a great run out of the corner there, and he's going to try and take a look up on the outside here. Is unable to get position there, and that doesn't allow him to get inside, unfortunately, for the kink. Cupcake's going to hold the charge off from Hooli here for the time being, but the Cupcake, is he going for a late apex there? No, I think he just is planning on coming into pit lane potentially here. And yes, that is exactly the case. So Hooli's going to follow him in there as well. So Hooli's now making his second stop of the night. Bar 27's coming into pit lane here as well. Let's see what JP does as he comes around. He's going to stay out. We got Skunk here in sixth position. We got Ken here in seventh. We got Johnny in eighth. We got Ray Racer in ninth. We got Matusa in 10th, and Onzaway in 11th. Alright, so Skunk moves up into third place there after the round of pit stops over Cupcake. Cupcake's going to take over fourth place with that jump in pit lane. That allows, leaves, pardon me, Hooli and Bar 27 in behind, chasing, coming into the second sweeper here. And that gap is is about 6 tenths of a second. Pardon me, give or take. Alright, let us find a battle. We got a race leader here, closing in on one of our drivers on the way here as he comes around. And again, pit stop sequences are going to jumble the pack up. We've seen a quote unquote back marker in Division 1 handle it properly and still have the two race leaders have a little bit of issue in that particular corner. So even though this safety is priority number one and is the biggest concern for the drivers on the racetrack, I lost my train of thought. Don't mind me, chat. I'm not with it sometimes. But, yeah, I lost my train of thought. It'll come back. Anyways, our race leader in control of this race. We got JP doing a great job here tonight, too, as well. He's currently sitting in second place. He's showing some really good pace here tonight, and he has opened up the gap on the third place driver, Skunk. I mean, that's a significant gap there, 15-20 seconds. It's going to be a tough close, but we have the drivers also opting to choose different tire compounds in their pit stops, so that's going to close drivers up and it's going to separate drivers a little bit. So again, much like Division 1 race, you know, that last 15 minutes is going to kind of start to tell us a better story about who we should really be looking out for here. So kind of a three-way battle brewing here for 4th, 5th, and 6th place here. Cupcake, of course, in the front end of this three-way battle. Hooley smashed right in the middle of that three-way battle, and Barr right there in behind. And with that three-way battle is now becoming a four-way battle, as Cupcake here in 3rd place made a little mistake, I think, and that's allowed this back group of 3 cars to close in here. Nice tight line, though, however, coming through corner 1 there from Cupcake, and that's going to allow him just to give himself a smidge of breathing room for through the S sector here anyways, from the rest of the guys chasing him behind. Skunk, Hooley, Bar 27. Ladies and gentlemen, this is always a part of the race where the drivers are kind of locked into their strategies. Now, the strategy really is important. You can't vary from it too much. It's precise, especially on hard, aggressive tire wear races like this one is. The precision of that strategy is crucial, and the execution even more so than the precision of the strategy. So right now, it looks like Rusty is exactly on that kind of track here. We have JP, who's a full sector basically behind our race leader right now, Rusty. We have Cupcake here in 3rd, we got Bar in 4th, we got Skunk in 5th, we got Johnny in 6th, Hooley here in 7th, we got Ray Racer in 8th, we got Matus in 9th, we got Ken in 10th position, and a couple of drivers now retired here. No, on's away in 11th, so one didn't make it, one's retired. Currently on the racetrack here, we got Rusty in the race lead. Rusty's starting to catch up to some of the back side of the pack here right now, and I'm not sure who that driver is up in front of him. It's on his way as he comes in towards the kink here on lap number 20. Anyway, chat, we look at the battles. There's lots of cars close enough to each other to definitely close up the gap, so to speak, and start the battle. But right now, ooh, Ray Racer going for a ride there as he comes up through the S's and manages again to gather that car up. But Matus now are going to roll up on him here and try and grab that position from him here as we head up the S's. And he does finally get it here from Ray Racer, who again just making a little mistake there. Those little mistakes are very costly. Rusty with just a commanding lead right now over second place driver JP. However, it does look like JP is closing that gap a little tiny bit here, as it was definitely more than that little straightaway just at the beginning of this lap even. We got Cupcake here in third place. Skunk in fourth, we got Bar in fifth. Check on the streams here, ladies and gentlemen. Just bear with me here. Got a little bit of a warning from my software, so we're just making sure everything's moving and grooving still. Keep hitting my mic with the beak of my hat. Casey coming in with that thumbs up on the stream. Appreciate you, my dude. Ken here in 9th place. We got Onzoe in 10th. Ray Racer in pit lane here, and Fuel Man waiting for his turn to go in. Looks like Ray Racer is having a moment there, taking a look at that racing car. We've now seen him struggle a little bit here today as well, so we'll have to wait and see if they can get that sorted out for him. But it is Rusty still in a commanding race lead here, but JP is definitely tracking. The gap was a good solid 15 to 20 seconds about 4 laps ago, and now that gap is down to about 10 seconds, so the tire compound difference starting to show a little bit there. Cupcake still holding down third place here. He has, well, a pretty large gap between himself and the second place driver JP up ahead. Bar 27 here in fourth place. He is about 7 or 8 seconds in behind third place driver currently. And then here we go, Skunk and Johnny C here, side by side action as we come through the S's there. Ooh, a little slide by Skunk, and that's going to cost him the position there, but it doesn't cost him anything more than that. He's just going to settle right back in behind Johnny here, and let's see if he can close back up and respond here. We'll stick with these two here for a little bit here and see if we see a response move from Skunk on Johnny. Looks like Johnny just has a little more pace currently than Skunk in behind. Hooli in 7th, Ken in 8th. We got Matus up into 9th place. We got On the Way here in 10th, and Ray Racer still has that thing in pit lane. So, still getting that car looked at here as that driver. Tough racing here. At the end of the season, the cars are starting to wear out. The parts are starting to break. It's a racing life. It's a racing life. Alright, so after that pit stop by JP, that has put, hold on, there we go, Cupcake within about 4 seconds of our second place driver. However, with that being said, of course, JP's going to have a much fresher set of tires that Cupcake has, but it depends on what set of tires that JP has, of course, underneath that race car as well. So bar 27 here, he's in 4th place. We got Johnny C now up into 5th place. So we had a little bit of a rough race start there. Got on the receiving end of an on-track incident. Spun out pretty hard, and now has fought his way back up into 5th place. And Skunk here is in 6th place, and these two were battling just a lap and a half ago that we were watching earlier. Is there going to be a pit stop here? No. Neither driver is opting to go in this time around here. And they're going to continue on down the road. Hooley here in 7th place. He comes around the final corner. You can see those two cars up ahead of him here. So let's see if he can close that gap a little bit more. On the way comes out of pit lane there just in front as well. Ken here in a 8th place position. And driving a different car this week as well, I see. Alright. Matus here in 9th position. We've got On the Way here in 10th position, and he's getting away with a blue flag. So is our race leader starting to gain in on some more traffic? Is the bigger question. Right now, it is Rusty who is our race leader and pretty much has been for most of the race. Interesting to see how it plays out. Alright, so Skunk has gotten around Johnny here. So now it's Skunk up into 5th place, and Johnny finds himself trailing in 6th position. We missed a battle for it, which is unfortunate, but I feel, or sense in a sense, that Johnny may have made a mistake, and then of course Skunk comes into pit lane, so it's not going to matter there anyways. He's going to have some clean air to drive in, so that's important. And we're seeing a pit stop here by Hooley, so also by Skunk. Skunk did come into pit lane. So, very interesting. Purple sector here from JP as he comes around the racetrack. Let's stick with JP here for a minute and see if he can convert this fast lap point here as well. Hooley's been holding that fast lap point for pretty much the whole race here at 134.446, and nobody's been able to touch it yet. I mean, JP missed it last time around by 1/1000th of a second, and there it is, purple lap now being held by JP here. That's a 34.282, so that is a pretty good lap right there by him. Cupcake here in third place. Bar 27 here in fourth position here as well. Johnny C coming into pit lane. Nice little three-way battle developing here between 5th, 6th, and 7th place here as well. And as the race is starting to dwindle down, we have 16 minutes remaining here. The pressure is going to start mounting here for the drivers, and we're going to start seeing it push a little bit harder here now at this point. So our race leader coming into pit lane here. So Rusty in pit lane. JP is in second place, chasing Cupcake in third. Bar 27 still there in fourth. And then we have this mid-pack group of cars, much like Division 1. A nice, healthy little late race battle starting to brew between these three. And right now it's Hooley in charge of this battle. Skunk in the middle, and Johnny C is the trailing driver. And no offensive battling, so to speak, right at the moment, but neither driver trying to give an inch to the other driver, either in front of or in behind here at the moment as well. So nothing changing here right at the moment. We'll come back and check on this here. Ray Racer, looks like he's having a pretty good issue with that BRZ here today, and it may not get back out on the racetrack here today. Got Rusty here in second place. He just navigated around ninth place driver Matus there. The JP actually, takes the race lead over here. I didn't even notice. I wasn't paying attention to the live timing screen there. JP, after that pit stop made by Rusty there, finds himself in the lead of this race here for the first time tonight. We got Rusty here in second position. We got Bar 27 here now up into third position here. Cupcake is in fourth. He's on his out lap, so he just made a pit stop. And then we have this mid-pack battle. 5th, 6th, 7th place. Moving, grooving, and just trying to get up the track as quickly as they can, and hopefully a little bit faster than the next driver. So Hooley has managed to make his way around Skunk there. I believe Skunk was in front of this. No, Hooley has been fronting this back. Never mind, I do apologize. So Skunk is starting to close in on Hooley. Here's what's happening, and Johnny C just trailing a little bit there. He's about, call it a second in behind these two right here, right now in 5th and 6th place. Alright, on his way here in 10th position. Ray Racer still in his pit box there, still having that car looked at. We got JP here in the lead. Ken made a pit stop there that time around, so he is still sitting in the 8th place here currently. JP heads into turn 1. We got Rusty just getting to that point here right now as well. And appears preparing to finish this race off on the fastest tire here as well. So, two-stop strategy there for that driver, and potentially could be the winning strategy here against these three-stoppers. We got the Cupcake here at third, got Bar 27 here after making his, I'm assuming, final pit stop here in fourth place. We got Hooley in fifth. Skunk is still right there in behind him. He has not given Hooley an inch on the racetrack here. Trailing him behind in sixth place here. Johnny C is starting to close back in on sixth place driver Skunk here as well. So I thought we were going to see one dive into pit lane there, but it's just drivers trying to break that slipstream right now on these long straightaways, trying not to give the driver behind any free speed or time. And as the three drivers head in to turn one, it is about 2.2 to 2.5 seconds separating fifth place from seventh place right now on the racetrack. Ken, after making his pit stop here, is in 8th place. We have Matus here in 9th. On his way here in 10th, and Ray Racer still having the crew look at that car. So whatever that issue is with that car, it must be significant. Alright, so JP here is our race leader as he comes rolling up in towards turn number 1 here. In command of this race right now. Rusty in second place, and he has looked good all night long, hasn't he, ladies and gentlemen? A little bit of a shaky start to his season here, but he seems to be settling right on in, or just maybe he likes this track. It's hard to say, but we've seen some drivers between the two divisions here tonight really step it up here in round 9, that's for sure. So Cupcake has a personal best lap as he comes around the racetrack there. That was a blue lap, meaning that that's his fastest lap of the race for himself personally as a racer in third place here. And as he comes around turn number 1 heading into the S's, he has a pretty good steam of momentum there, and he's going to get a good charge up the hill. Got Bar 27 here chasing in fourth, and you can see that he's just entering the S's as Cupcake's now exiting the S's, hitting into the second sweeper. Hooley is still holding off the charge of Skunk here right now for 5th place, and you can see Skunk there was gaining on Hooley a little bit. Now it seems like Hooley has opened or pulled that gap back and put it back at about 1.5 to 2 seconds here, and Skunk has Johnny C still right there trailing about 2 seconds in behind there as well. Matus here in 9th. We got Onzaway in 10th, and Ray Racer looking like it's going to be a retirement here today, unfortunately, for that driver. It's JP here, still in the race lead. We got Rusty closing in quickly. He can say GP now, so what are we at here? We got about 8 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this race, and I believe JP's going to pit stop here yet, if I'm not mistaken, judging by what I'm seeing here. Plus, I don't think he has the fuel in the car to continue around the rest of the race, so is it going to be now, or is it going to be the next time around that we see JP make that final pit stop? Let's find out here. Is he going to go in? He is going in, so it's going to be now. So he's going to relinquish that race lead to Rusty here in now in the lead of this race with the pit stop from JP. So where does that put Cupcake now as he comes around? He's got Matus up in front of him there, so a blue flag car. Cupcake has 3 corners to go before he's on that front straight. 1 corner left to go as he has a nice kink there, I believe turn 14 on this layout. And as he comes rolling into the final corner here, looks like JP is still in pit lane here. So wow, long pit stop there for our second place driver. No, he's not. The game was just teasing us. It's Ray Racer we're looking at in the pit lane. He's already out back on track. So Rusty has regained about a 20-second gap on JP. Cupcake has about 12 seconds. Definitely doable if there's a mistake made by JP, but with only 7 minutes left on the clock, a stretch. We got Bar 27 here in 4th place. We got Wooly here in 5th. He's got no pressure behind us. Skunk has making his final pit stop. Got Ken here in 8th place. We got Matus in 9th on his way in pit lane. And Ray Racer looking like that car is retired today. Sure looks that way anyways. But it is Rusty here, still with the race lead, and as he gets set up for the kink there, a little bit of lag coming from that driver there as he comes around the corner. Thankfully, that hasn't... Oh, it is too, isn't it? Hold on, okay. Sorry guys. Try to get the end of the race back going here. There we go. It should be moving. My apologies here. Hopefully it wasn't like that for too long. Alright, so JP here in second. So let's get through the field here. Let's get you guys caught back up. You could hear me talking, but you couldn't see what was going on. That's my bad. Capture card must have froze up there. So it is Rusty back in the race lead here. He's got a huge lead on the racing soft tire, and with 5 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, looking in command of this race. JP's had a fantastic race here today. He's just tucked in behind 8th place driver Ken right now as they head into the S's, and this is just a matter of being patient. That's exactly what JP's doing. Not ideal, but smart racing right there. And then JP will opt to pick a side and go around Ken here. Maybe Ken's got the pace and JP can't get around here. That is entirely possible, as they both just came out pit lane last lap as well. Moving to 3rd place here, we do have Cupcake. My bad, chat. My bad, chat. I know. Thanks for saying something. Bar 27 here in 4th. We got Uli here in 5th. We got Johnny in 6th. We got Skunk in 7th. We got Ken. Ooh, big battle. Right, never mind. This is a lap traffic situation. Ooh, a little bit of a curb slide there from JP as he tried to tuck inside there. Side-by-side action here from 8th place driver Ken and JP. And JP is finally going to make his way around there, heading into the hairpin, and Ken is just going to slot in behind our 2nd place driver there. So, we got on the way. Looking like he's got his car in pit lane here with some kind of malfunction as well. So there we go. Drivers showing the struggles and showing the wear here in the race here today. Alright, so Rusty in 1st place here. We've still got a couple laps to go yet here, so we are getting close. JP here in 2nd, Cupcake in 3rd. Nothing really, no immediate pressure here for a podium, guys. Bar 27 tracking here. Cupcake right now, but the gap is about 7-8 seconds, so it's going to be a big ask. Got Uli here in 5th place as well, and it's much of the same thing. Pretty large gap between him and the next position. Johnny C here in 6th place. Good recovery drive here from Johnny C, and currently sitting in a mid-pack of the field here. Skunk in 7th position. We've got Ken here in 8th. We got Matus in 9th, and it looks like 2 drivers now ready to put their cars back into that trailer and get ready for our finale here next weekend. But it is Rusty as he comes around the hairpin here. Very, very much so in charge here tonight. He has had an incredible pace here all night long, right from race start, right to race finish here. So you can just tell that this track is clicking with this driver and the car, and he is just zipping around Kyoto Driving Park here today. And as he comes around the corner with 57 minutes remaining, it's going to be 2 to go here as our race leader comes through the start-finish line here on lap number 36. So that brings JP coming through the kink here right now. He's just a couple corners in behind our race leader. You can see Ken there just off in the background as well in 8th place. So it'll be 2 to go for JP as well. Cupcake's just coming to the kink, should be 2 to go for him as well. So Bar 27 there, looks like he was just navigating a little bit of lap traffic there. And oh boy, that's going to be a big hit right there. And that is just an absolute horrifying situation at the end of the race as he got that the curb hook right there, and you can see Hooley in fifth place here. He's going to capitalize on that, and Hooley is going to grab a position here and move up into fourth place. So a little bit of an unexpected turn of events there for Bar 27, but Hooley was close enough to take advantage of the mistake there. Johnny in sixth position. We got Skunk in seventh. We got Ken in eighth, and we've got Batus in ninth. Two drivers looking pretty done underneath the cooling sun here in Japan as the stars are starting to come out here as day is finally starting to turn to night. And this man right here, Rusty, had some incredible pace here today. Very dominating performance here on the field as well today, but two-stop strategy proving to be absolutely the way to go here in Division 2 today. And we're just going to stick with Rusty here as he comes around to start his final lap of the race. And it has definitely been a well-earned final lap of the race here. White flag for Rusty as he comes through. JP here in second, holding strong. Has a good little gap over third place driver Cupcake right now. Just needs to keep it nice and neat and tidy here for this remaining lap and find himself standing on the podium right there with Rusty from Incredible Sim Racing Team. And as he comes across start-finish line, he's going to be taking the white flag here from our tower as well. Cupcake in third place, the final podium driver here currently on the racetrack, and he's going to come around to take that white flag here on the racetrack as well. So, Hooley getting it a little bit wrong there, coming out of the kink, having a little bit of a wide moment in the grass there. He manages to keep it in front of him and keep it underneath of him, and he still manages to hold on to fourth place there. A little wiggle coming out of the exit there as well. And Bar 27, maybe an opportunity for a final lap battle here with that driver up in front. We got Johnny C now closing in here in sixth place as well. And that was a tough moment there a couple laps ago for Bar 27, and now he's kind of potentially under fire from the driver chasing us in behind. We got Skunk here in seventh. We got Ken in eighth. We got Batus in ninth. Get back through to our leader here as he's just getting near the end of this final lap, and as we're heading into the final corner, it is going to be Rusty for the race win here from the Incredible Sim Racing Team, and a very championship performance here tonight in round 9 from this driver as he crosses the line to take the checkered flag here first tonight. JP's coming around here, one more corner for him. Great race for this driver here tonight as well. And the Race Asylum Paint Guru here is going to find himself standing in second place with that beautiful Race Asylum BRZ here tonight, and a very well-earned second place here for JP as he had great pace tonight as well. And Cupcake coming around here, going to take that third and final podium position away from the rest of the field here today. It was a great race from himself here. I think best race of the season for him here as well there. In this very quickly closing season. 9 of 10 almost officially in the books here as Hooley comes around in fourth place and just keeps it nice and neat and tidy around that final corner. Make sure he gets it all right, and a great race finish there from Hooley here in the race today as well. Bar 27 is going to hold on to that fifth place finish there. Johnny closing in though in sixth. You can see Batus there in ninth. It's going to be Skunk here in seventh. Batus coming through in ninth. Ken taking a checkered flag there just a couple of minutes ago as well, and it's going to be on his way finishing in 10th, and it's going to be Ray Racer finishing in 11th position there. As you can see, the car just getting wheeled out in behind pit wall there just as we took a peek. So there we have a Division 2 Race Asylum North America race, ladies and gentlemen, and that again was round 9 of 10. So that means next weekend it is one last ride here from season 1, and we will be heading to Brazil for Interlagos. So it'll be a 1-hour doozy at Interlagos, a very technical racetrack. It's a pretty good racing racetrack, and I think it is going to be a fight of the ages for our drivers. That was a great drive, dude, man. That was a very great drive. I seen your guys' comments. I just I didn't want to give any spoilers away to the viewers, so I appreciate all the viewership. Apologize for this for the screen freeze there. That was it happens. It happens. But appreciate the chat for catching that one. We got it sorted, hopefully with not too much um, missed action. But a great race here in Division Two. It seems like every week one of the drivers in Division Two seem to step up and kind of really have a just a different level performance on the racetrack tonight. That honor belongs to Rusty, and just start to finish, just a textbook 1 hour endurance race for that driver who followed that strategy to a T, made very little mistakes, and got himself out of any immediate pressure as quickly as possible to allow himself just a cool, calm, collected racing event here this weekend. A very difficult racetrack. Kyoto's a tough racetrack. It has tough corners. It's a very flat surface racetrack as well, which makes cornering and braking and speed very, very difficult in the technical sectors of the racetrack. So the drivers had it out tough tonight. We've seen those curbs destroy these BRZs tonight. These cars are so low to the ground. They have, like I said, a very specialized aerodynamic package for a Group 3 car. It almost essentially puts them into a Group 2 category of aerodynamic package. And in a sense on what that car says, and Mihao had touched base on that in Division 1 there when he joined us in the booth. And really the only thing that BRZ missing is just a lot more horsepower, and it could very easily potentially be a Group 2 class car. So it's very interesting to see how these guys manage each different racetrack, because the curbing is different on every racetrack. Some have flatter curbs, some have high raised curbs, some have evenly sloping curbs. In Kyoto, it has very high curbs, and they hook the car, and that hook does not relate into a better corner necessarily. Sometimes that hook relates into throwing the car out of the corner, and that throw out of the corner is where we've seen, I think, a lot of our spins and heartbreaks from some of our drivers here tonight. But at the end of the day, they all came out, they all did their best, and they're all going to go home with a few more points than they had before they entered the race tonight. And leading into round 10 next week, it's anybody's game still. The championship is not decided. There is going to be a pretty close, I would have to say, 4 or 5 way battle for that championship title come round 10 next week. So with that being said, again, this is presented by Race Asylum out of the United Kingdom. This is a North American series. This is their first season. It's a one-make Group 3 BRZ series. This is hosted through Sim League Pro. It's a host site for leagues, and that's how you register for these events. So what you do is you go to Sim League Pro, you set up your account, and then you can find communities to follow. One of those communities obviously being Race Asylum. So you just put Race Asylum into the search, or just look for them on the site, become a member of that community, and then from there, once you're a member of the community, of course, you can see everything that they have going on currently running and what's open for registration. From there, you register. You can jump into the Discord server from a Discord invite provided within Sim League Pro, of course, by Race Asylum. And then, I mean, in all honesty, ladies and gentlemen, all the good stuff happens in the Discord server, so you want to be in a Discord server, because that's where all the peeps are at, man. That's where the cool kids hang out, and that's where all the good information is as well. So even if it doesn't work for you, you're in the server, you can see what's coming soon as well before it's released. So it's a little bit of an extra advantage being in the Discord server as a league racer as well. And of course, just being a part of a great community like Race Asylum never hurts either. It definitely can't hurt your pace and improvement on the racetrack, I'll tell you that much. But great racing by both our divisions, Division 1 and Division 2 today. Lots of spicy moments on the racetrack, lots of great three-way battles, especially in the mid-pack of both divisions here today. And a pretty big sportsmanship moment in Division 1. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you missed the first race, go back, check it out, and right at the end of the race is that great moment we're talking about. And, well, it's going to lead up to a really great finale to the season next weekend, let's put it that way. So I want to say thanks for everybody coming in, likes, to shares, to comments, hanging out. we were live on the RA YouTube this week. We got it to work properly, at least in that sense. So glad to see everybody coming hanging out over there as well. It's super late in the United Kingdom, so obviously a lot of the drivers will catch up with this tomorrow, but we appreciate y'all. And if you haven't liked and shared the stream yet, and if you wouldn't mind doing so before you leave, that'd be fantastic. Whether you're watching it live or recorded after the fact at your own leisure, just helps the league grow and the pages grow a little bit to bring more great viewers like yourselves in to watch more great racing action that these amazing drivers put on every week. So I would like to thank you on behalf of GT45 Gaming, again, your commentator for the evening, and I would like to say a special thank you to Mihao V-Rod, aka PSN name, and one of our Division 1 drivers, and he was our championship's point leader coming into today's race as well. Unable to get on track, so came and joined us in the booth due to car issues. So a huge thank you to him for jumping in the booth. It's not easy to do. It's people think it's easy, but it's actually not as easy as you think. And you did a great job there. Gave us some great information to the viewers there as well through the race. Drivers always have great insight when they jump into the commentator booth as guests, and I always enjoy having the drivers jump in with us when they're available for that, due to mechanical issues with their cars, because it just helps give the people at home or that are at work watching a driver's point of view on what's happening on the racetrack as opposed to just a commentator's point of view. Obviously, they race, they compete, they practice, they test. They help out competitors and teammates, so they just have a better understanding of what's going on as things are happening in front of us. So a huge thank you to Mihao, and I guarantee you he's going to be trying to track down a championship tomorrow or next weekend as well. So where to find us and when is it all happening, you ask? Well, finale is going to be next Saturday, and it'll start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and if you're of course in the UK, that'll be 12:30 a.m. Sunday morning is when the series will be going down, but it'll be on all the channels so you don't miss any of the action when you are able to catch up with the races. We appreciate you all. Remember, you all matter. Thank you for all the love and all the support as always, and we'll catch you on the next one.